Hey, welcome back to the Episodes Wrong podcast. I'm your host Juan. As always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Yeah,
man. How you doing? It's been a while.
I mean, I was sick. I had to take a little break. Now I'm better.
Good.
And now I'm ready to talk about too much anime. So because I was sick last week, when we intended to watch Cowboy Bebop, talk about the anime, and then watch Cowboy Bebop, talk about the live action the week after. What if we just did them all together? Yeah. So,
well, I remember, we knew that the live action was coming out, and you asked me like, "Hey, do you want to do them together?" And I was like, "No, let's split them apart. That way we get more episodes."
It's smart. It's smart.
That way we get 2 topics.
Yeah.
And then you canceled, and I was just like, "Let's do them," because you said do them together. I was like, "Yes." At this point, I don't want to watch all of Cowboy Bebop, hold it, and then wait another week to watch.
Well, exactly.
Show,
It just came out. People are very eager to watch it.
I'd rather shock
everybody
10 hours
that said like, "Oh man, I want to watch that." Like, no spoilers. I'm like, no. You don't understand. This is a live action anime. You're allowed to have spoilers.
Like, how do you
it
not
doesn't
spoil it?
Fucking matter.
Yeah.
That's kind of our opinion on this whole thing. Is this show the live action doesn't fucking matter.
It's amazing though. It's like the best thing we've ever seen.
It's one of the best things I've ever seen.
No,
changed my life.
I mean, it's weird. I've been dreading doing this episode because of the live action part of it, but the live action part of it has made me appreciate the anime part of it more. So it's like,
oh sure,
cool. Like before we knew we were gonna do this combo episode thing,
yeah,
I said, you know what? I understand Cowboy Bebop. I get it. It's fine. But now that I watch live action, I go, okay, cool. Cowboy Bebop's way better than I thought it was because I can see what it can become.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I am coming into this I'm trying to be like positive about it because I do want to talk about Cowboy Bebop the anime and talk about it, how I actually feel about it, and then I want to talk about the live action and tell you how I actually feel about it.
Okay.
Spoilers.
Before getting into anything,
okay,
I think it is important to note we did not like the live action Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you feel about the anime Cowboy Bebop? Because people that are listening to us that don't know us,
don't know that we didn't.
They want to make sure that they're listening to people with similar opinions, so they can make sure that they know the live action. Yeah, how do you feel about the anime?
I like it.
Okay,
yeah,
just to like it. It's not like revolutionary.
It's not like it's. I think I said it to you. Like it wouldn't be in my top 10. I do see why people really like love it and respect it and stuff. It was good. I don't feel like my time was wasted. Even 26 episodes in, I think that's how long it was.
Yeah,
I wasn't like, man, I'm not getting that time back. So I know that it's like considered a classic and that, for a lot of people, it's like their introduction to anime, but it wasn't mine. It is this podcast has given me the opportunity to come back and finish it because I have watched it in the past, but never enough to like finish all of it. So like, I thought it was 12 episodes. I didn't know Bebop
it's a big
I didn't know Bebop was 26. And when I found out, you said, hey, you should start watching the show. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then I saw how big it was like, I better start fucking watching the show.
Yeah, man.
But it's still good. Like there's a lot of positive things in it. The thing I liked about it the most, I think, was seeing maybe things that Bebop inspired in the future. Like anime that we watch now and things that are like, oh, cool, that's very Bebop. That's very of that time or that era or whatever.
Yeah, it's substantial. When I was a kid, I didn't watch Cowboy Bebop as it was airing. I had seen a couple of episodes, but it wasn't something that I like kept up with.
Yeah.
So by the time I got around to Cowboy Bebop, I was very exposed to anime. I think it was one of the first of like 40 anime that I had seen, somewhere in that like first really large chunk of me just like going movies, shows,
anything,
give me all the anime.
Consume,
so I had already seen what I consider to be like the sequel of Cowboy Bebop,
the better version of it,
which is Samurai Champloo in my opinion. Same director, it has very similar vibes between all the characters doing different stuff. But it also was an entirely different show. It just had that heavy emphasis on music and of the general tone between the characters being very like cool, suave, rad as hell.
Yeah.
So me going into Cowboy Bebop, I was a little disappointed. Yeah. Everyone said it was going to be the best anime that I had ever seen. And when I say everybody, I mean literally every person that has talked about Cowboy Bebop to me says it's their favorite anime at this point. Says it's the best thing. So I had these really high expectations and I was pretty let down. And it wound up being one of those anime that I was like, it's not that good.
Yeah.
It's not that good. And now I've seen like 1 million anime, right?
Right. And you go,
2.5 million.
Because this season of anime is really light for you.
Yeah, this one's a light season. Cowboy Bebop. Now rewatching it, 15 whatever years later. Oh yeah, it works for me.
I get it. I get it. Oh, for sure.
I had originally watched it in Japanese. Everyone experienced it in English for the first time. I watched it in English this time because I'm already familiar with all the voice actors. Like they all did the same shit back then. They were all doing different shows. So going into this, watching it in English, it's great. It's such good voice acting. Everything that they had was like, I understand why this was so popular when it was popular. I still understand why I don't like it as much as other people do.
Yeah.
And it's because for the most part, I appreciate ongoing storylines if they can do them well.
Yeah.
And Cowboy Bebop really can do ongoing storylines well. Those 2-parter episodes, fucking incredible. I just wanted the entire series to be like that.
But it wasn't. Like,
you know?
it was,
But it was episodic. It was a sitcom at times. It was different.
I think that like maybe because you said like Bebop was maybe like in that range of 40, your first 40
it was
animes.
early,
Mine was probably like Bebop was probably after that. Like I was probably somewhere around like hundreds of animes that I'd seen by then, and I wasn't used to episodical animes because I didn't watch slice of life. I didn't like that. Still wasn't something I did, so I think that was maybe one of the biggest deterrents when I watched Bebop. I was like, no, it's not for me. I don't get the whole. Every episode doesn't continue after the other one. Like I was like, I don't. They do. If I get far enough, I do get episodes where they do continue.
Yeah.
And by the end, like a story is told over time, right? But I didn't get that far. So coming back to it now, I'm like, oh, cool. I don't think I've watched 2.5 million, but I probably watched like a million animes.
Yeah.
And like it makes it for sure, like because of all the shit I've seen, I'm like, oh, and shit, not like as in bad stuff. All the crap anime I've seen, I go, wow, I appreciate this. Even though
Cowboy Bebop, Cowboy Bebop did so many good things.
Oh yeah, for sure. And even though like I didn't watch it and didn't have that nostalgia for it, it gives off a nostalgic vibe to it.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, this is that old good anime.
I read somebody saying you should watch Cowboy Bebop and treat it as a music video experience.
Okay.
So it's more about the music than it is about the scenes and stuff going on in particular, and like the story that the music tells. And I'm like, that's fucking weird, but I also kind of get it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a different take on it.
Just because the music is a really strong element of Cowboy Bebop in general. Just interesting. Something that I didn't really consider when I was watching through it again. But it's a great anime that they, of course, wanted to adapt into a live action. There's so many fans.
Yeah.
It seems like it's pretty straightforward. The characters are pretty realistic in a lot of ways, but not all of them. And they didn't know what to do with that for the live action. I guess we'll be talking about everything later, but in general, that's kind of our feeling about Cowboy Bebop. Yeah. Like we're not the biggest fans of it, but also we respect the hell out of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, if you come in here and you're like trying to see like two fanboys gush over Cowboy Bebop, like that's not us. There's plenty of that on the internet. Like, don't even get me. You could Google Cowboy Bebop reviews and you get like a bunch of people being like talk about why it's perfect, right? Mm-hmm. We're not that, but we do like it. We respect it. So which I think is the most important thing. Like, it's good. It's a good show. The live action isn't, and we'll talk about why. Yeah, for sure.
Hey man, how has your last 2 weeks been?
It's been good. I promised I wasn't going to talk too much because like we have a bunch to talk about.
You promised, dude.
I promised.
You promised.
But there was two things I want to talk about. One thing that's really important. One thing that's not important. Mm-hmm. The non-important thing is that Trip. I am now 3 weeks in a row, undefeated in fantasy football. Undefeated. The feet are on them.
That's amazing.
My record now stands at 5-6. I am.
That's a really big comeback. Yeah.
I am in 8th place.
Is that the same place?
No, I was in 9th last.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, hang on.
Hey, you're trying to remember what place I was in. Yeah. So
I'm in the same place.
Yeah. So
no.
this is
cool. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Again, had nothing to do with it. Just set the lineup.
Well, it's important,
But
you gotta
but
respect that.
But the last 3 weeks, I've won, and it's led to a record of like I think there's 3 of us with the 5-6 record. Mm-hmm. So even though we're all kind of tied, it then comes to who scored the most points. So I'm at the bottom of that. But depending on like how it continues, I could still make the playoffs. Like my buddy who was who was in 8th originally, and I was in 9th, has 1 point more than me, like 1 win ahead of me, and he's in 6th place now. And you just have to make the top 6 to make the playoffs. And to top it all off, the guy that I beat last week was in 1st place, and I didn't just beat him; I mollywopped him. My fucking running back scored 51 points. Fucking Corey, go suck a dick. That's for Corey.
Yeah. Shout outs to Corey for sucking dick.
Yeah. No, it was cool though. It's been good. Still not 1st place, but one day maybe. Okay, that was that topic. Moving on.
Next topic, quick. Go.
Here's
Congrats.
Here is a throwback to one of my favorite topics that we've had, or maybe like little sections or segments in the show we've had before. Fucking, we'll talk about pizza. Pizza time.
It's pizza time. Beautiful.
It's pizza time.
Okay.
We talked about pizza. We talked about square pizzas. I was telling you that there's breakfast pizzas that I had when I was growing up. There is a website where I can order that breakfast pizza. And that's just, I haven't done it yet, but I'm very excited to order like a month's supply of breakfast pizza. And if I get one, I'll give you, I'll share it with you that we can enjoy it.
Yeah.
The last time we spoke, we talked about you eat Tostino's square pizzas because of a nostalgia, right? Like it's like something that you're like, oh, like
it's a grown up
it's
part
like,
of life.
It's like I ate a lot when I was a kid for
Maybe
reasons.
Once every year or two, I'll revisit them.
Growing, and you
just
gotta
see.
And I asked you, like, are they good? And you said, no, it's more like sometimes my body feels like I need one of these. And you're like, so you do. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm interested to see what this tastes like. And you told me.
I told you.
You said,
I'm like, it's not good.
It's like a cracker with like ketchup on it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, if that's what you want to eat, you're more than welcome. Like, absolutely. I want to experience.
You want to see what my life was like?
Yes. I want to know what this was like.
Well, first off, I would like to say that is actually really sweet.
Yeah.
I want to make it very clear.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, and I appreciate you more for it.
I wanted to, I want to know, like, I want to understand triple a bit better because I never got those. Like, that wasn't a thing in my like pizza. When I got pizza, it was always circular, and it was like far few in between whenever we got it. But like, so I was like, oh, Trip ate this all the time.
I never said
all the time. He ate this.
I ate this every 2 days. Yeah, maybe.
So I was like, I'm curious to see what this tastes like. I went to the store. I even snapped you. I was like, hey man, are these the ones? And you're like, yep. And you saw the price. You're like, that's too high.
Yeah, you're paying a lot of money for those. Might want to reconsider.
And I was like, and then I think I asked like, how many do you eat? And you go like, 2 probably, do you? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna get 2 of these bad boys.
So I'm gonna stop you here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that at this point I was like, yo, sis, what's going on? Juan's never had these. Yeah. And like start updating my sister about it.
Yeah.
And she's like, bro, like, why is he spending so much on that?
I got it.
It's just not okay. Anyway,
I have to try them.
So my family is inconsistent. Very dumb choice to spend that much money on them. But you had more reason than just trying it.
Yeah, I was like, I want to get what Trip's going on. So
sure.
I asked you because they had three different flavors, and you go, dude, it doesn't matter. Grab whatever you want. I was like, okay, so I grabbed the cheese one and I grabbed the combo one.
Hell
like,
yeah.
Cool. And I threw them in the back of my freezer and I said, Trip, I will eat these. I just don't know when. And when I do eat them, I'll give you an update. And you said, yeah, for sure. So then I waited, I don't know, a few weeks. I finally got around to them. And I was like,
a few weeks.
And I was like, oh shit. Like, and this was the thing. I was like, do I tell Trip how I feel about him or should I just wait to talk about him on the pod? And I was just like, I'm going to wait.
Just wait.
So first heating them up was pretty easy. Like,
yeah, it should be.
I was just like, okay, I looked up I watched the video to make sure I did it right.
Okay, good.
Put them for the right time. They come out. They're like crispy-ish. Interesting though. The packet said to leave them in there longer if I wanted softer crust, which didn't make any sense to me.
Nah, but I've tried it both ways, and the softer crust just means that it's less enjoyable.
Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't go with softer crust.
It's a little floppy, and then you just like.
Okay,
it's still warm and it all tastes similar, but the textures don't work.
I went with the not softer crust.
Yeah,
I pulled them out. Gave them some time to sit. I was like, okay, I'm gonna eat these bad boys. I contemplated cutting them, in forks, but
it's a good contemplation.
But you said you can eat it as one piece.
You put it in your hand. Just fingertips. That's all you could get,
You said
hold it like you're holding some kind of like a large ball.
You said you could do it with one hand. I was just like, okay. So then I struggled to eat it with. I was like, Trip has years of practice eating these things. So I'm just like, what corner do I start? Do I start from the side? Do I fold it? Is it okay to fold it over?
You go at look, man. There's no wrong way to do it.
It felt wrong.
Yeah, well, that's part of the experience.
I ate the first one. I ate the first one to the best of my abilities, and then I was just like, I think I got it for the second one. For the second one, I ate it a little bit different, had more success. But anyways, when it comes to the way it tastes, comes to the way it tasted,
it tastes like
it absolutely. It absolutely tasted like a cracker with ketchup on it. And the thing that blew my mind too was like, because like
it's not bad. Like, I just have to be clear. It tastes exactly like that, but for some reason,
Trip, I did not enjoy it, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah,
my biggest thing was like I would bite into it and I go, I know I'm eating food. Like my mouth is chewing cheese and some sort of bread and some sort of paste and meat with the combo ones. Like I know my mouth is chewing these things, but I'm not getting any flavor from any of these. And so I just kept eating it.
Because remember when I said it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And I kept eating it and I was like, is it like a texture thing? Is it like
I don't know.
And then I was like, started chewing it. I was like, it kind of turned into like a paste in my mouth. Like, and I was like,
but that's what most food does when you chew it long enough. This just eases the process.
It was very strange. I remember, and after eating the first one, I was just like, well, I bought two. I heated up both of them. I was just like,
oh no, that's a big night.
I was like, I guess I'm eating this second one. Let me tell you, it was so much harder to eat the second one.
Yeah,
I was stuffed. I was just like, here we go.
Well, because one's not quite enough to me, but then the second is way too much.
I don't think one's enough. I agree, but I think two was too much.
Yes, I'm with you. Hey, we're on the same page.
Yeah. Man,
you
it was.
Do you have any regrets?
No regrets. Like no regrets. I had no like stomach ache or anything.
Good.
I doubt it's even real cheese because like.
It's processed as hell, dude.
But fuck, dude,
it doesn't have any nutrients in it.
It didn't seem like it. Like I was eating it, it's like there's no way this is actual food.
They might have hidden some like vitamins in there in the sauce or some shit.
Yeah.
But like only to meet federal requirements or whatever.
Yeah. You know? Most of it's probably sawdust.
Like to consider it food. Yeah.
I for sure like I understand. Like maybe if I was a kid, I probably would have maybe liked it a little bit more. But I do think it is interesting that your body still sometimes wants it.
Every couple of years, it's a nostalgia.
Your body's just like, I'm going to put
like
this
we
in
need
me.
to remember
our roots,
where we came from.
The struggle is real. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever eat those again. I do like the pizza rolls.
Oh yeah.
Those
little I
feel like those taste a lot better. I've had those in the past. I just don't know how to ever cook those because those always explode on me. Like, so I don't know if there's a sign. If you got the perfect time or recipe or instructions for the pizza rolls, let us know. Gmail at us at gmail.com.
I think you're supposed to like
deep fry them.
No, like air fry them or some shit. Like probably something weird to make it so that they all work out.
Well, let me know if it is an air fryer. If you can guarantee me that the air fryer is the way to make the pizza rolls, I will buy an air fryer for that.
You're actually just supposed to get 2 frying pans, and then you put them all in one and put the other one on top, and then just let them all heat up.
No way.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to. The instructions on the back actually tell you to grab your 2 most similar frying pans.
Yeah, man, that was pizza talk.
Good.
It was interesting. I don't regret it. It does make me feel like I understand you like a little bit better. But man,
just where I came from, man.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. Sometimes, yeah, for sure.
You got to do what you got to do. I think that most stuff that I had as a kid is just like, well, they, it didn't cost much.
Yeah, no, but to share like my like something for me, like, yeah, you ate those. They were, they're inexpensive, blah, blah, blah. And then now you maybe get like a craving for it every now and then. I have a similar thing. Like growing up, we ate like Vienna sausages. We'd, clean them out from the can and their goop or whatever they were in, their whatever preservative kept them alive for years. And then we would like kind of cut them up. And then we put like Tapatio and lime on them and we would eat them. And I know it's like bad because I've had it now. Like I'll have it now. Like every now and then my body's just like, I'll go buy a Winco and I'll be like, there's some Vienna sausages there. I'm gonna grab one, and then
You just gotta
set them up at house. I'm at the house and I'll eat them, and I'm like, God, this is fucking awful. And I'll take a photo of it and I'll send it to my siblings, like, check out what I'm munching on. And they all go, damn, dude, oh shit. Like they also get that that kick, that nostalgia kick. And I go, man, this was a real treat when I was growing up though. Like that was a hot snack to have like in the house. Like, oh, bro, you got sausages? Don't touch that can of sausages. Those are mine. I'm like, okay, bro, I'm not gonna, and I absolutely would. Yeah, so I get it. It's same thing for me. Like,
hey, we're on the topic of traditional family foods, right?
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah. Shout outs to Thanksgiving. Shout outs to my sister for being a year older.
Oh, is she born on Thanksgiving?
No. Okay. Thanksgiving is only on Thursdays.
Oh, I don't know when Thanksgiving is.
No, exactly. It's one of those trick holidays.
Is it just a day of the like a certain week of the month?
Yeah.
Third Thursday?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now I know. But is it also happens to be her birthday?
No.
Okay. Anyways, you were saying on topics.
So yeah, what you didn't grow up celebrating Thanksgiving?
No, did not. No.
I grew up doing a bunch of different Thanksgivings, so we never had like a traditional thing. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that I always miss from every family gathering hasn't happened in like 10 years now.
Frito pies.
Lumpia.
Oh, I know what those are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what lumpia is.
It's like that. Is it a Greek dessert?
No. It's an Asian. It's very much an egg roll, but every part is different.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. Every ingredient is different.
Baklava is what I was thinking about.
Oh yeah. But very, 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 very different.
I do know what lumpia is.
Yeah.
Do you make them or
no? We had somebody in our family that she's been making them my entire childhood. All that.
Is she Asian?
Yeah. No longer in the family. You know.
It
the
happens.
way things go.
Yeah.
Still a great person, but God, I miss her food, man. That's the one thing.
You don't miss her.
Well, I was a child. Like we never really connected.
But damn, did she make some good ass
But
egg
you
rolls.
could connect with food over. Like she was also from the very religious part of my family, and I am from the,
not
like
from
the slums.
Family. Yeah.
I'm not allowed in church.
Mm-hmm.
So not very many things to connect on, but food. Oh man, I could always compliment her food. She was awesome.
When was the last time
really
you
nice lady.
had some, you think?
I think it's been like 5 years.
Damn.
Yeah, because I haven't made any. I don't know anybody that makes them.
You can make them?
No, that's what I'm saying is that I haven't made any.
Oh, okay. I thought like I haven't made any. Like the last time I made them was 5 years. You're saying the last time you've ever had them
Was 5 years ago.
Damn.
But yeah, I haven't made any because I don't know anybody that can teach me. I missed my opportunity, so whoops. Yeah, that's the one thing that was like a traditional thing that I really miss.
For Thanksgiving, huh? Or is it just all holidays?
All holidays, but like on Thanksgiving, I didn't give a fuck about anything except for that lumpia. Like every year, it's just like I only care about this lumpia right now. I'm going to eat this bread and spinach dip, but honestly, I'm going to go to town on that lumpia, and if I'm not eating 30 of them, then I'm having a bad day.
You could eat 30 of them? That's how small they were?
Look, man, like I'm not saying I could eat 30 of them, but if I didn't eat 60 in a day, that was nuts.
Like how big? Like a few inches?
Are
they really small?
Think like a little bit shorter than a spring roll, and like one of the smaller spring rolls from like a Vietnamese place.
Like really like thin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty.
Oh, kind of like the ones
tiny
from
little tubes
from Faux CNC. Bigger than that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was around that same size.
Yeah, I could eat 60 of those.
Yeah, they were fucking good. It was the flavor that did it more than anything. But anyways, tomorrow I'm going to be spending the day with this Thanksgiving, I'll be spending the day with my dad, who his back has been like injured for a while now. So
too much golf.
Too much golf. I don't know. He was picking some shit up. He hurt his back, and then he was exercising, and he hurt his back again. So he's had a rough month. But I'm going to be over there, and we're going to be able to like make some food together and just take it easy, not making a ton of shit.
Yeah, there's only 2 of you, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm pretty stoked about it. It's gonna be rad.
For Thanksgiving, I'm going over to my father-in-law's house. Originally, we weren't gonna do anything because we got asked like, "Hey, what's the plan for?" We were talking to each other actually.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do for Thanksgiving? And I was just like, "Well, you're supposed to be in Harvest because Harvest is like super backed up for her, you know?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, let's just not do anything. Like, what's the point?" Also, my mom was gonna be in town. We didn't know how long she'd be in town. We're like, "Well, she doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving. It'd be pretty shitty to have Thanksgiving at my place and then her not want to come, you know?" That we just thought it'd be kind of uncomfortable. So we're like, we'll just not do anything. Later to find out that harvest is ending soon, kinda ish. She's not as busy. My mom left like a week ago, and then we're like, damn. We gotta scramble to do something. But Dave hit me up and said, "Hey, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?" And at that point in time, we had no plans. So we're going over to Dave's house. We're going to Dave's house. The Kramers, which is the older Sierra's older siblings who have the kids, they're going down south to that side of the family's Thanksgiving, and I think Isaiah's going to his mother-in-law's up in Paradise. So it's just gonna be me, Sierra, the Woodcocks, and Dave. So it should be like a chill Thanksgiving. It should be pretty lax, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of food because Dave doesn't know how to cook for like a small amount of people. He only knows how to make things in large quantities.
Yeah, that's tough. But hey, man, it's the first invitation. You go with it.
Yeah, I got to go with that one. Yeah, it's going to be fine. I have no problems with it. We're going to do that Saturday. My siblings are coming over for Saturday. We're doing like a dinner thing again. Again, it shouldn't be a lot of us, just me, my siblings, and like their kids or whatever, and Sierra. And then Sunday going to Sierra's mom's boyfriend's place. So it's like 3 Thanksgivings.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of shit that I don't fuck with.
Yeah.
I'm like, you get the first person, you get it. You did it first. I'm proud of you. You planned ahead. That's awesome. If you want to do like a week ahead, I'm cool with that. If you're doing it a week after, fuck you. It's almost Christmas.
Yeah.
I just had this.
Yeah.
But like, if it, I really want to get together. Okay, cool. I'll make an exception and do it before Thanksgiving. We'll have like a more casual time, and then we'll do like the big stuff. Nah. I don't like having those multiple Thanksgivings.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of all that. So
I think
I don't know.
I think at a certain point in my life that I thought maybe that would have been kind of cool because it just means like, oh, cool, more free food. But now at this age, I'm like, I can't eat that much food. I'm already gonna have leftovers at my place. Like it's gonna be too much. So good to know that you're having a Thanksgiving this year. So that means I can't pawn off leftovers to you because you have plans.
Yeah, I do.
Damn.
Yeah, it's too
What's
bad.
your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Wow, that's kind of personal.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Okay, you're putting me on the spot right now.
It's
making me really nervous. Well, honestly, I would if my life didn't change.
That one doesn't count because obviously
it would clearly be lumpia.
Yeah,
without a doubt. But otherwise, I have such a personal and close relationship with potatoes.
What type of?
Yeah, exactly. I would say just classic mashed potatoes really crushes it for me. That is like the best go-to.
Potatoes are good.
Favorite. Typically during the holidays, just because they're holidays, it's been tradition to do scalloped potatoes. That's my like second favorite that we would have during holidays. But now it's like, I remember liking this a lot, but also I just like mashed potatoes better.
Yeah.
So I just got to go with classic mash, man. Doesn't matter if there's gravy or not, as long as it's buttered the fuck up. We're having a good time. Yeah.
For me, I think like I was talking to some of the guys earlier about it, and I was like, honestly, I know it's not a very typical Thanksgiving thing. Like Thanksgiving main thing is turkey, right? It's like I like ham, but a lot of people do ham for Christmas. So it's like if ham's not on the table, then I guess I'll go with mashed potatoes. Even though I was telling Sierra, like she was telling me what she was making, I was like, oh, you're making mashed potatoes? Like, not making any scalloped potatoes though, She's just like, no, I make that for Christmas, which I didn't know. So Sierra has this thing where she's like, no, I make mashed potatoes for Thanksgiving, scalloped for Christmas.
Yeah, certain things you do.
And
yeah,
I go,
sure.
Oh fuck, well I didn't know. It's like
You're learning.
I am learning. So I'll go with mash. Mash is pretty good too. I think my least favorite is probably stuffing. I think it's fucking bullshit.
Why?
I just think it's bullshit. It's like here's the stuff inside the turkey. It's like here's the bread. It's like why? Why would it?
It's bread
lame
with chicken stock.
Nah, don't eat it.
Yeah, a little bit of some veggies.
If you need your bread softened for you, you shouldn't eat it. You don't need it. Go do something else.
If you're telling me that I can't
have it.
Eat soft bread,
you shouldn't be allowed to. Bread can only be hard. In Russia, we eat bread hard.
Like my sister's favorite thing, I think, is rolls.
That's
like
good.
Bread rolls.
Good rolls,
sure.
A nice roll, yeah.
That's her favorite thing, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't see eye to eye on this whole stuffing game. I get where your head's at.
I think it's bullshit.
But for the most part, it's just some flavored bread, which for me, it's good. It's not my favorite, but it's kind of a tradition. Not to throw it in a turkey. Honestly, fuck turkey. I will say that. Fuck turkey. I don't give a shit about turkey.
Whoa. That's a lot. That's a lot to say.
Turkey's fine, whatever.
I like turkey. I don't think it's like amazing. I think that like I like turkey more in the sense of like for like sandwiches and stuff. So when I have turkey it for Thanksgiving, I go, I can't wait to make this into a sandwich. Like I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's a different experience. Yeah. This year we're doing steak.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
It's just two of us.
Yeah. I think Courtney bought the tiniest turkey I've ever seen. It's like
it's like a little Cornish
less than
hen.
a football. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like she was showing it off, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like that could absolutely feed 2 people though. So it's like that's cool.
That's the way to do it.
No, but steaks is good. Steaks is good.
Yeah. Anyways,
that
Cowboys.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Hope everyone has a good one.
We had to. It's a holiday podcast.
Yeah, it's a holiday podcast.
It's Pete's podcast.
If you celebrate Thanksgiving, with your family, be thankful, blah, blah. You should be thankful all the time. If you don't celebrate, cool. That's fine. Do whatever you want.
And if you're not thankful, I don't care.
Go fuck yourself.
Hey.
If you're not thankful, go watch the Cowboy Bebop live action.
And then you'll be thankful.
You'll be thankful.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. That's us. We're not doing anime. Oh, actually, no. What do you say? You going to say people what you're doing for anime?
Oh, yeah, no, I've just been keeping up with
You've been keeping up with the stuff.
Yeah. So everything's been really enjoyable. And by that, I mean I'm watching Octopi on White Sand, Ranking of Kings, and Jobless Reincarnation. Jobless Reincarnation, once again, one of those shows that is almost impossible to recommend to anybody because it is overwhelmingly sexualized and has like all this creepy... it's gross. Nice. It's got some gross stuff, but it's also the best fantasy anime that I've ever seen.
Nice.
And the more that I keep watching, I keep going, they put so much heart and effort into this. It's crazy that I can't tell people to watch this. So anyways, keep not watching it if you're not, and I hope you are watching it and you're enjoying it, whoever's out there. I know that you're still planning on watching it.
Yeah. I mean... Sexy parts aside, it's a really good show.
It's super fucking good. We just got into a story arc that's like kind of connecting everything, which is good because the story's been a little bit disconnected.
Everything's
and
everything's kind of been kind of all over the place.
So loving that show. I think right now, that is the most comfortable show to watch.
Really, Jobless?
Yeah. Just because I'm just like I already know what I'm in for. Boop, and just like. Put it on, have a good time, whatever. Have not a great time sometimes, but whatever. Ranking of Kings, clearly the best show of the season. Without a doubt.
I want to watch that so bad. I just haven't had the fucking time.
Yeah. And saddest show of the season is, of course, Octopi on White Sand.
Yeah.
Makes me sad every episode. So not every episode, just, all of the ones that are sad, which is 95% of them.
There's that one episode that wasn't sad.
But man, it's so pretty. They made that show look gorgeous.
That's good.
I love sea life. I'm in it. One hundo. And now I have anime news to talk about. But I don't have...
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to keep that nice and short. And with the news, it's mostly just announcements of shit that's coming out.
Fucking
and
hit me with it.
Sometimes they have dates, sometimes they don't. But Crunchyroll announced a ton of stuff, so that's going to be the entirety of the news.
Let's do it.
Spy X Families coming to Crunchyroll in 2022. This is something that I don't think anyone was expecting, but a lot of people are excited about just right off the bat.
Okay.
Because it's got an adorable looking family. And if they're spies, even better.
Yeah, I think I've seen some promotional stuff or like some visual stuff for this. This does look nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a show that may or may not be up your alley. It's got all the ingredients, but we know that doesn't work out 90% of the time.
True.
Next show is going to be Tomodachi Game. This comes out in April 2022. It's about some students that go into debt and they are dragged into a debt repayment game.
So I looked into this.
So you're on it.
I did look into this because my friend Kyle, who likes survival anime just like I do.
Yeah.
Whenever we find something like this, we'll share it with each other. He's the one that shared the King's Game, the God's Will with me, and I've shared King's Game with him, kind of back and forth. He told me about this one. He's like, hey man, you should check this one out, and I've been meaning to. And he said something like, it sucks that it'll never be an anime. And then when I found out it was an anime, I shared it with him. He's like, oh dude, super stoked. Then I looked into who the studio was. The studio sucks.
That's why I'm saying it's got all the right parts, but you never know.
I can't remember what they did, but I remember like the studio was like they had one thing that they did recently, and I was like, God, that was bad.
It does not say the studio involved in the Crunchyroll thing.
I'll try to look it up because it is noteworthy. It's something that we've talked about in the past.
Please do. Next up is Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie, which comes out April 2022 as well. This one is about a girl who's cute and I love it because as I'm reading it, I'm like, this is literally 4 sentences just to say that she's cute, and then she turns into a heartthrob girlfriend or something. Sounds a little fucking weird, and it could be a lot of fun. So excited. Next is The Dawn of the Witch, also coming out April 2022. All this is on Crunchyroll. Like I said before, Crunchyroll announced all of it, so it's all gonna be airing on Crunchyroll. And this is a little bit of some amnesia bullshit joining a magical school. So that's how they're gonna introduce you. They always have to come up with a reason. If it's not isekai, it's amnesia, right?
Yeah, and then I feel like some isekai animes can also just be, also amnesia animes. Like it's just like what's
pretty interchangeable.
Like, how'd this happen? Amnesia.
Yeah.
Why is that?
You were from another world.
Isekai.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's they kind of go hand in hand, right?
They're really the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, The Dawn of the Witch is probably just another isekai. Who knows though? So fuck it. Dance Danseur. This is a ballet dancer anime, and it doesn't have a date associated with its airing, but Crunchyroll's going to be doing that. Couple of Cuckoos. This is a couple of babies got mixed up at the hospital. You know how it is?
Yeah.
Well, now they're in high school and they're probably going to fuck or something.
Oh.
At least that's the way that it seems. Yeah, they're engaged to each other. That's what it is. Tight. Very
I guess
cool.
that's not that bad, right? Because they get switched. Are they related? It just says, now I'm confused. Did you say that they're siblings that are like related that switched, or just 2 different babies got switched? Because technically there's no blood there. There's no issue with it, except for the people that raised your significant other are actually your parents.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of weird bullshit. This one sounds weird. Don't worry about it.
Okay, but we'll be watching it.
Yeah, absolutely. AOASHI is going to be airing in April 2022. We got ourselves a sports anime. It's a bunch of boys playing soccer. So I always love it when it's just like, okay, well, we know what it is. It's just this. We all know. Everybody knows.
We all know what's going on.
Yeah. Speaking of things that everyone knows what's going on, January 9th, 2022, where will you be?
January 9th, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Probably at home.
Good. Get in front of a TV or computer, wherever you do your Crunchyrollin', because Attack on Titan, the final season part 2, is coming out.
You said January 9th?
Yeah.
2022?
Yeah.
That's
so
like a
close,
month
away, dude.
That's so
It's like a month
close.
and a half away. We are really, really close.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're finally going to end this decade-long fucking show.
God, I hope they nail the landing. Oh,
Yeah,
God, I hope they...
Yeah, I hope so, too. Well, a lot of people are very unhappy with the manga's ending. So, we'll see. I feel like no matter what happens, I'm at the point in Attack on Titan where I'll probably be okay with it.
I mean,
you have the options of everyone dying. All right, that's fine. You have the option of a lot of people dying and the bad guys winning. Okay, sure. You have the option of the good guys winning and all the bad guys dying. Okay, sure. Since the entire thing is good versus bad, but then it turns out everyone is the same, because war and all that.
Because war. Yeah. I think season 4 really kind of blow my mind when I was just like, wait, they're all bad guys? Like, there's like,
everybody is not good because of bias and reasons.
Morality is a construct, It's like, what?
Yeah. So, anyways, whatever happens, I feel like I'm pretty open right now.
No.
They set it up pretty good. So, for anybody to be upset, whether I don't want to get into the spoilers stuff, but no matter what happens, I feel like I'm not going to have a bad outlook on the show.
Okay.
I just can't imagine an ending that would make me go, gross.
Really? Okay. You can't imagine. Oh.
Yeah. So I want you to start coming up with different endings that would make me go, that one would be bad. You don't have to do it right now. Just something like a little exercise every once in a while. If you want to shoot me a text, like, what if Attack on Titan ends this way?
Yeah. Okay. And don't, I was gonna invite everybody else to do it, but I was just like, you know what? No, because some people be assholes will probably spoil it.
Oh yeah. No. So if anybody does connect to us about that, no.
Don't be an asshole.
No, I won't respond.
That is funny just because I thought, kind of like Promise Neverland, like, oh, they can't fuck this up. Yeah, but I think with Attack on Titans, I'm less worried because it's so far into it.
Well, yeah, they've done a lot.
They've done
we already
so
know
much.
that the studio landed the beginning of this.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I have surprising feeling it's going to be great. Calling it now. But we'll see January 2022, the 9th.
Skip and Loafer is getting a TV anime. Did you know that?
Don't know what that is.
It is one of the most popular manga right now.
Skipping Loafer?
Skip and Loafer.
Okay.
So anyways, it looks like it's a shoujo, but it's absolutely not. It's a seinen.
What's that one?
For adults. You're going to have a good time. Don't worry about it, sir. Don't worry about this. Just go ahead and watch your seinens. You're going to have a good time. So yeah, the style is very different than the genre, and that's one of the biggest appeals is because you're enjoying something that normally isn't the way that it is. It's just doing something different inherently because of the art style. So crazy popular. It is going to get a TV anime, and it's one of those ones where people are like, I don't know if this would ever get one, but it's really popular. It's crazy they haven't done it yet. It's one of those. Not one of those like coveted, oh dude, we have to get Komi Can't Communicate. You know, it's not like that level, but it's it won some awards and stuff. It's like rated number 3 or something somewhere. You know, I did the minimum round of research.
You screenshotted something.
I screenshotted it. I read the article and I read the comments. That's what I do for almost every piece of news, unless I already know information about it. That's usually the basic amount that I do. And then I go, it's not worth it. I don't care enough about it. I don't know enough about it. I'm just not going to say anything because I don't want to sound like an idiot. So I'm just going to say the minimum amount of news. That's normally what happens.
You know what? I found it, and it wasn't just one thing that they done wrong. It's several things. And that's why I was having such a hard time remembering. These guys have also done How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. They've done The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Uh-huh.
And the last one was The Girl in Twilight. Remember that one? Where it was that super weird thing where like they're going from like one world to another
3D?
world? Yeah, fuck, dude.
On High Dive?
Yeah. So, all
right.
That's why I was
Not a
super
good
stoked
track
about
record.
that. And then also not stoked about it.
How Not to Summon a Demon Lord?
That was one where it's like the dude came in and he was like, he instantly like controlled the 2 chicks and essentially like did dirty stuff to them.
Oh,
you remember that one?
That one. Yeah. I got my demon lords messed up.
Yeah,
there are so many demon lords out there. It's just like, why do I need to remember them all? You know.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all the news that I have for you this week. Stuff. Yeah, it's a decent amount of stuff. I just wanted to keep it to Crunchyroll's announcements and that one because it seemed like it was pretty important for the manga.
Well,
audience.
I'm excited for Attack on Titan.
Prove it.
Okay. I will.
Yeah, well,
I don't know how.
Time. You have time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying right now. I'm just,
prove it.
I would like your proof.
Well, let's move on to this week's topic, which is actually 2 part.
What the fuck are we talking about?
2 core episode.
Yeah. Well, it's all going to be the same episode. It's just you're going to get an extra long,
mashup.
You know.
It's a
you're going to get
remix.
part A, part B.
It's flipped, listen to part A, turn over, listen to part B kind of thing. Doing Cowboy Bebop, which is a classic.
Mm-hmm. Now, the thing that I want to do for this, because you constantly draw comparisons between them both.
Yes.
I think it's important, though, that we establish we're going to talk about the anime.
Yes.
Our experience rewatching that.
Okay.
And then the live action with comparisons all throughout.
Sounds good. We can do that.
Cool.
So the live action.
Immediately you fucked it up, dude.
Okay,
Come on.
Okay, I got it.
When I was a kid and I had watched this on TV, it was just like I would catch an episode here and there over at a friend's house. I didn't have Cartoon Network at that time. I got Cartoon Network like a year later, I think. And it was no longer airing, or I didn't see it airing, because at this point, my dad had TiVo. This is a long setup. Don't worry about it. My dad had TiVo, which is one of the first devices you could use to record shit onto a box that would play it back to you.
Yeah.
Instead of having to make DVDs and VHS and everything that existed beforehand. Now it was all stored inside of a box. And I could just find Trigun and Inuyasha and, the other stuff that was airing around that time. I don't remember because I was very excited about Trigun and that was pretty much it. But I do remember seeing Cowboy Bebop and being like, it's all right, but I wanted to check that out later on, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So I never got much of an experience with it outside of, it seems okay, I guess. Like, I didn't know any of the characters. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anything. Turns out you didn't need to know anything, but I didn't understand that because trying to watch Trigun and Inuyasha, very different experiences.
Like, what was last week's episode? What did I miss?
And at this point, I was an avid Pokemon/Digimon fan, so I already knew the experience of having an ongoing storyline and how important that was. And I assumed that all things that looked like this, because I was so familiar with Trigun and it being an anime, and I actually knew this shit at this point, I thought that I needed all of that for Cowboy Bebop.
I bet it felt like you would watch a Cowboy Bebop episode, and then the next episode would come out, and you were like, what happened? What did I miss an episode? Especially back then, you're like things aren't connecting. Last time we were doing this,
For the next 4 or 5 years, I had no idea it was mostly episodic. Mm-hmm. Not a single person had said anything like that to me either.
No one
even everyone was just like, it's so fucking good. I don't know why, but there's always been a stigma around watching anime. So even the people that enjoy anime didn't want to talk about it unless they were like private about it or had somebody else that had already seen what they wanted to talk about,
your
right?
Community, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so even though I had a bunch of nerd-ass fucking loser friends...
And you guys all watched it.
Yeah, and a lot of people were like, you see Bebop? I'm like, no. And they're like, the movie's so good. And I'm like, okay.
That's right.
That kind of shit.
I found out there was a movie after he finished the live action. I was just like, what's this going on? And it was like, it's between these two episodes. Like, I don't care.
No.
I'm not gonna make this a priority in my life.
Doesn't need to be.
We'll probably watch it like in half a year when we need another episode.
Maybe. When they're doing the next season of the live action that they set up for.
Oh my god! I think the idea of like people not wanting like to share like like this whole beat like maybe it was it just not being as fucking I don't know as common, right? As like there weren't as many people who were like super proud about the anime that they watch. Like, they're closeted essentially. And now it's so mainstream. Everybody watches anime, right? Like and like people who you think like that wouldn't watch anime are like all about it. And it's super cool now. But I think that maybe that's an issue with people like maybe kind of gatekeeping or like just gaslighting other people like, oh, you haven't watched Bebop? Oh, it's like the best thing ever. It's like, well, tell me why it's so amazing, or like what's the whole you were saying like people didn't like tell you it was episodical.
I didn't know what was going on.
Maybe the word didn't exist. Maybe it wasn't a thing. Maybe it was just
and that's a lot of it. It was just like I would have said the plot doesn't matter in between episodes. Because I've watched shows where it absolutely is essential to know all that.
It almost feels like old television was always like it was. You would have a following if it wasn't like a soap or whatever, because like those were very like.
Oh sure,
or like
everything, everyone.
Yeah, like your characters, right? And they just do the same thing, like a procedural. Like they do the same thing in every episode.
Yeah.
Except they don't really connect. But it's just like Cowboy Bebop does. Like happens. Most shit happens. We know our characters kind of. Sometimes they get introduced. Sometimes we know them all the way. Sometimes we just don't. Sometimes we don't even see the character until like halfway through the show, and we go, "Oh, okay, cool."
Sometimes they're not in the episode for more than 5 seconds.
Sometimes, and this is a trope I actually do want to talk about in other anime that pops up. Sometimes they all die at the end of the episode or whatever, and they're like, "How did they survive?" And then it's just never brought up again, and we're okay with it because it doesn't fucking matter, right? Like, like when I saw that in one of these episodes, I was like, "Oh, cool." I've seen that in other shows, and then the next episode, I was like, I bet they're going to start with them not even explaining how any of that happened or got resolved. And they absolutely did that. I was like, awesome. Shout out to Bebop for, maybe pioneering something like that. Yeah.
So when I was watching the last episode of Cowboy Bebop, I was thinking about how much Spike gets absolutely fucked up by everyone, shot, stabbed, wounded in all these different ways. And I'm just like, he's just a regular dude.
In the anime or in the anime?
Yeah, I mean, just like in general, like they don't.
No spoilers, but he got one bionic eye.
Okay.
No spoilers.
Still just a regular dude.
With the bionic
in this,
eye.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
But in this world,
yes,
that's pretty normal. He's not an outlier.
Oh,
other people have those kinds of things.
No, I understand what you're saying now. In this, not in the world we exist in. You mean the Bebop universe? Yeah, he doesn't.
He's just a regular ass motherfucker.
He doesn't shoot like laser beams from his fingertips or anything. Yeah,
he should be like he shouldn't be able to move.
No, he should be dead 1,000 times over.
So I don't know what happened to him that made him able to take all that damage and still be alive and able to move fluidly in combat and do all that shit.
Well, my joke was that it's his kung fu, his eye, and his diet of beef and bell peppers that is just bell peppers. So. I don't know. I mean, it's never really explained. I just think that like,
you know what show did explain that?
Samurai.
Trigun did.
I didn't watch Trigun.
I know, and that's the thing. It aired at the same time.
Yeah.
So all I had to do when I was watching this for the first time ever is compare the two of them.
And you're like, just Trigun's better.
And I'm like, they didn't explain that. It doesn't make sense. And as I'm rewatching, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I had a problem with that. It's because it's just shit that happens in anime and whatever.
He's just super cool, dude.
But I was being hypercritical, and I'm like, they fucking explain that in Trigun. When they show Vash and you see his body is nothing but like metal and scars, you go, okay, so something's fucked up with this guy. And then you later learn more fucked up things about who he is. Like, okay, this all adds together in a way that makes sense in this world.
It is funny that you really that you would compare the two and be like, because those were your point of reference was Trigun in this, right? You're like,
and the music is such a big element of both of them. It's got a lot of they're both westerns, you know, a lot of different things that you could compare with each other. And it's my natural comparison.
But it's funny because Trigun is also like,
I don't think Trigun's a great show right now.
It's also like episodical, and there's also like a lot of it is maybe considered filler, right?
It's episodic for like the first half, and then the second half picks up where the manga actually happens.
Okay, so yeah.
And then they write all this original shit for it. Trigun's a really weird show that I'm not going to say it's a good one, but I liked so much of what they did. And I liked the writing, the philosophy behind everything, the way that they treated this future that exists. Everything that they did was so like, oh yeah. Growing up, I was never a big sci-fi guy. And Trigun is the sci-fi that I was like, this is everything I want in sci-fi. This is doing everything for me. So it hit all these different notes. And I had a very biased comparison point.
Yeah,
for Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're willing to admit that your comparison was.
I have to be very clear. It's super fucking biased.
But I do think that's funny that it's just like, Trigun's way better than fucking Cowboy Bebop.
That's all I had to say.
That's all. I mean, hey man, if
I was like, the storyline continued. Okay,
at least now I know why he's super strong. You know what's funny is that Cowboy Bebop. I haven't seen all Trigun. I've seen some of it that that you lent me, and it was old, but it's also that whole nostalgia bit to it. But I remember you being like, "Yeah, dude, it's about the guy Vash Stampede. And he's going against his brother. Was it Killian Knives or whatever?
Millions
Knives." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." For some reason, watching Cowboy Bebop, I was just like, the anime. I was just like, "Oh, I can't wait for Spike to fight his brother." Like in my head, I was just like, and the show ends, and I go, they never once mentioned that they were brothers. I was like, huh? I wonder if
that's so good. I love it.
I remember, I was like, I wonder if Vicious has the same name as Spike. Like, do they share the same dad or the same mom? It was like the whole time I'm watching it. 28-year-old Juan watching it now and being like, this is interesting.
Oh fuck, dude, that's so funny.
And then what's fun? And then we'll talk about the live action later because I go like, they did it. Yeah. But I did think that was funny. I was just like, and I think it is.
Oh my god,
the connection of Trigun and that, because I remember being like, the main bad.
It must be.
Yeah, is the main character's brother. I was like, that must be the same thing for Bebop.
That's so fucking funny. I love that. That's great. That's great. That, yeah. I absolutely love that because, it the connection between Spike and Vicious, like it could be, and they're brothers too. Like just like an offhanded line.
It's like, why not?
Yeah, sure, fuck it. But then in Trigun, it's like a very, very important point that they're brothers.
The whole time I'm sitting there being like, when is he going to mention Vicious is my brother? I was like, he's gonna say it. He's got to say it at some point.
Well, because when that big moment happens in Trigun 2, it's like, who is Knives? Like, what is the deal with this? And you don't know who Knives is for a little bit, and then eventually he's just like, my brother who killed the girl that I love's family, like only remaining relative, and also is like, and like it's got a long list, stuff. Yeah. You learn all of that super far into Trigun. So for Cowboy Bebop to do something similar would be really fucking funny to me.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't know unless somebody told you.
Yeah.
And, it's pretty much the same show.
It's the same show.
I mean, more or less, they hit so many of the same notes. It's just me being extra pedantic about shit, being like, "Oh, I didn't like it when I was a kid."
Yeah, but okay, so we'll get past that.
Please, yes,
but not liking it as kids.
Move on.
In today, like watching it now, we usually when we watch the shows, we'll try not to talk to each other about the shows because we don't want to.
Yeah, unless it's like hey, you started it? Where are we at? Because I need to just say like, what the fuck, or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, because you don't want to be like yo,
not a conversation.
Yeah, you're like, this is episode 6 thing that happened, and I need to ask you about it. Like
how far are you?
Yeah, exactly. So you asked me how it was going, and I was close to getting done, and I was like, look, man, this is how I feel about it, and I think I still feel about it the same way. Like, I think that the show's really good. It's great. There's a lot of really positive things in it. Like the voice acting is something I really enjoyed, but I knew it was gonna have great voice acting because of all the things I've ever seen from it. The music goes without saying.
Oh yeah,
that intro is like classic. Like as someone who hadn't seen the show before, I know that fucking intro
and the outro and a couple of songs throughout are like really popular. But they've been also kind of fading away from like the anime fandom. Like you won't see those kinds of things pop up as much. You'll just hear Tank. That's it. Like,
I think it's just time. It's just things get distant.
It's time. That's all it is.
It's all it is. It's because it hasn't gotten worse. Because it's still great. It is absolutely just being like, wow, like that was 40 years ago. That was gonna eventually it's gonna be 60, then 80. It's gonna be like so far in the past. Someone's gonna be like, play the song and be like, Cowboy Bebop, Yeah, I mean, unless Netflix renews it for like 1 billion episodes.
And there's some that are like crazy popular songs for what they do in the show, but you're not going to hear it everywhere. Green Birds, I think, is fucking insanely good.
And you're like,
I would be shocked if I heard that out in
the wild. Yeah, for sure.
Because it's not a very like let's all jam and people that don't watch the show are going to love it. It's just like,
why would you do that?
It's a choir.
You can just fucking play, the My Hero theme songs on your fucking giant speaker backpack on loop while I wait in line to watch the fucking My Hero movie. I didn't forget you fucking piece of shit. God, I hated that guy.
It's crazy. Okay.
Anyways.
So now my head's at like anime conventions and standing in lines and stuff.
Yeah.
And every once in a while it's like, hey, thanks for like doing something to entertain the people that are sticking around here.
But also
usually it's the employee or not the employees, the volunteers. Yeah. If they have like extra stuff going on, I'm like, yeah, man, you're vibing. You're helping other people vibe. I feel like you are more responsible with your music selection than somebody who's
playing
currently
the same
working.
Songs? Yeah.
So whatever. It doesn't matter if people are doing that at conventions. It just depends on who is doing that.
I agree. Yes.
And fuck that guy with the backpack.
God,
that was
it was
doing
so
that
loud.
My Hero fucking song.
Anyways, music classic. Like it's such a good for the anime. It's amazing. I really like the designs, the world that it's built. Right, like a lot of it's really fun and training.
God, it's so cool.
There's some good character development. Yeah, there's episodical stuff. The story is probably, like, in my opinion, like the weakest part, but like,
oh yeah, because there's not really a story.
It's not really a story. Like it does feel kind of like police procedural. Like, okay, in this episode they're gonna get a new bounty, and how are they gonna catch them, and what's gonna happen? And,
bad guy of the week,
and how do they fuck it up? Because they always fuck it up. I do like the, like, in the anime it was always kind of ambiguous, but like it was like, oh, they didn't get the bounty, right?
Well, in the anime I feel like they made such a big point. So the entire show was just about a couple of dudes who don't know each other too well but can work with each other, and they know each other good enough, and they're bounty hunters, and then another person comes along and helps them out, and then they find another person who they kind of adopt and help out with them, and they also have a dog that's a genius that somehow helps them. Like, everyone that comes together for this, they're barely living.
Yeah.
Like, they are bounty hunters, but they are scraping by every day.
Well, it's super interesting because, like, I remember watching the show and it was like, oh, this guy's got a bounty of like 11 million woolongs or whatever.
Sounds like a lot.
I was like, holy fuck, that's a bunch of money. They catch him. They got it. And then it wasn't until actually the live action did a good job with this of explaining like how much money actually went, and it makes sense, because of inflation and stuff. Like nowadays, like, oh man, back in the day, gas was 99 cents. Like, gas is $5 now. Like, that would blow someone's fucking mind. So it's like, it's like at that point, like, oh, gas is $1,000, and you're like, it's cool. I get paid, $1 million, a week or whatever, some shit like that. So that's why I was like, I don't really get that. But after watching it, I was like, oh, this world is for sure. It's like, it's progressed to that point where like where $1 million, like a $15 million bounty, maybe is not that much for the amount of work they're putting, especially if you're gonna get shot and stabbed a bunch.
Yeah, but one thing that the anime does fantastic is that they're fucking broke.
Oh yeah,
they don't get to eat sometimes. Like, they are struggling.
Well, like, is in episode 1 they're like, they're eating and they're like, we're having beef and peppers, and then it's like, there's no beef in here. It's just like, yeah, that's how I fucking make it. It's like, damn, bro. And it makes it even better, which I think about is like, culturally in Japan, like, bell peppers are like gross. It's their broccoli, right? Like kids don't like bell peppers. So so it's like, oh man, not only do you not have protein, you have bell peppers, the worst vegetable to be eaten. It's like if we if we were like, oh, you have to eat Brussels sprouts, you know, kind of like, oh, nice.
Definitely hits that same
You guys
level.
are broke. Yeah, you guys ain't got shit.
In I mean, I'll just say it now. In the live action, I did not get the point across that they were poor.
Yeah.
I remember at one point pretty early, Spike leaves a fucking sniper rifle on a roof and just like, all right, peace out.
Don't
not going to deal with this anymore. Like, I'm like, that's someone you could sell that, dude. Like, you don't need to use it if you don't want to.
He found it. It wasn't even his.
Yeah. I'm like, that's free. I mean, maybe I've just played too many games where I'm just like, we don't have any food or money. Let's steal everyone else's shit. You know, like there's just always a need for getting by in the anime.
Yeah. In the
live action, I didn't feel that as much.
I think in the live action they did thing where like they broke down when they did catch someone, like all the like the fees and taxes that get pulled from it. So at the end of the day, they don't have any money. And like I think we also get more examples of them buying stuff in this world. They're like, hey, how much can this get me of this food? And they're like, how much money do you have? Oh, I got like 6 million, like 6,000. It's like, that sounds like a lot. It's really not, you know, like.
Yeah. I mean, but the way that I see things is, all right, so Faye has a huge debt just in general.
Yeah.
Right. And then I don't know what's going on, but they are crashing into shit. They're having space battles and stuff. They have to replace equipment and parts. And I'm sure that anything for a large spaceship, which can house other spaceships, I'm sure that motherfucker is costing more. So I didn't need the breakdown ever. I was just like, they have a shitty looking ship and they clearly can't even upkeep that.
Well, you know what's also interesting, since we're speaking about the ships, I didn't really know what the Bebop looked like. Like I know that the Bebop is the name of their ship, right? Like I know that's why, you know, they're cowboy. It's cowboy because that's what they call the bounty hunters in this world, you know.
Yeah.
And then like the Bebop is the name of their ship. I remember seeing the Bebop in the anime and being like, did I miss it? Like, and it's like, oh, it's got it written on the side of it. You know, it isn't the most, in my opinion, like beautiful, pristine looking, like iconic ship, you know, like the Millennium Falcon. That's iconic for some reason. But Spike's red, you know, stingray or whatever his swordfish. It's something like that. That shit I do know. Like that is nostalgic as fuck. I was like, and that's nice since it's smaller, it's compact. But then I realized that is also just a spaceship that fits inside another spaceship. It's like my car has mopeds inside of it. So yeah, it makes sense that the amount of money that they're making does not spread as far as they need to.
And for fuel to go across the galaxy, I don't know what the fees cost to jump.
Yeah,
but like
or park their station, their vehicles. Yeah,
there's so much shit where it's like I don't need to know all the details. I don't need to know all the breakdowns. I really got that feeling from the anime that they were broke in every single respect.
It almost it enhances, like, I feel like the characters. I know that like in Samurai Champloo, like they were broke and we saw it all the time. Like they're like, how do we get food, right? Like, and they're on a journey, right? And you know, in this one, maybe we're not following a journey as closely because it's episodical. But in every episode, I did feel like they are still broke. They have still not come up. They have not made that one in a million bounty that's going to solve all the problems, because it really doesn't exist. And they're trying really hard to just kind of get by. And that's kind of, it's just kind of the vibe. And I like that. I like this. Like, it makes it feel more real. Like maybe like they can't afford to not give up a bounty, or like why are they doing this super dangerous thing? Because
like, they have to. We don't have money. And there's one bit where it's later on, we're learning Faye's backstory, but she has videotape dropped off. And they're learning the difference between VHS and beta and all that shit, right? So they go off on this big ass adventure to try to find the right thing to play this video, and then they bring back the wrong one. Yeah, and that was very like, oh man, they worked their hardest and they fucked up. Yeah, and that made sense to me. But then in the live action, there's a point where it's like, hey, the ship needs this specific kind of a part. Go get that, and then they don't get that specific part, and I'm like, the money. Yeah. Like I understand that there was a time constraint, but these motherfuckers are spending money on something that might not work. That doesn't make sense to me.
Didn't they use that part and it blew up or something like that? Like,
yeah, like they were barely able to do what they had to do and barely able to hold it together for whatever reason. It was just a stupid fucking anyways.
The gravity also of them going and picking up a VCR instead of a beta machine is also very funny, because like in my head is like, just go back and get the right one. I was like, well, how much is it going to fucking cost to go back and get the right one? I was just like, oh my God, fuck, like, It is, yeah. Everything's kind of heavy. Like they can't just go wherever they want. They really have to work and just kind of scrounge by. And because of the kind of people there, he's in a former retired cop, right? And then like a former gangster, right? What do they call it? Like a
sure,
criminal.
Criminal.
Yeah, it's like cool. Like they don't really have the option to be like, we're just gonna go get a normal job. Like, no, you gotta. This is what you do. And they're kind of good at it, sort of. Not all the time. It's impressive how they're not the best at it. I do like that they bring that up. They're like,
well, it's important to show that your characters can get fucked over.
They're really good.
Yeah,
they're also really bad at their job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But
not like comically bad. Not like Space Dandy bad. It's just like, god damn. Like maybe don't blow everything up. Maybe don't shoot your blasters into a building. Maybe. Still real good though. I really enjoyed it. I like the show a lot.
Oh yeah, the anime. Sorry, everything that you say, I'm just constantly thinking of the live action.
We'll get to it because
I know it's
super
so
close.
hard, and I'm just like, all these points that you're saying
You're
go
like,
directly against.
Yeah. No, and I think that the one thing I want to say was like, I think that Cowboy Bebop is great. I don't think it personally not in like my top 10, but that's fine. That's my top, But I will say that like I think the show absolutely deserves like a lot of respect, a lot of praise. Do I think it's a must watch? I don't think so. Like I think like you can probably watch Samurai Champloo and like I think that's a better version of this, right? Like
sure.
And I think it's newer. I think it does a better job of like developing characters, telling a story. The animation is cleaner because of it being newer. Like the animation in this show holds up. Some of the times it's not like the best. Like some of the fights are kind of, I don't know, like not super fluid, and that's because of just technology. I feel like
Oh yeah, but then again, since you brought up technology, they have some 3D animation in this show that looks really good for the time, man.
What was that? What was it? I'm trying to
remember. There was a little like device that this girl has.
The compass thing,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
it's like they had a little 3D animation on that. I think that they had some 3D animation on like spaceships at some point. The jumper portal things and. Yeah, they did some really solid 3D work
like some
for that time. Yeah,
yes, like the pioneers of like this, like implementing 3D in their stuff, and it working, and also maybe because it's like
it's crazy because like you could see that from that era and go, no, gross.
Maybe
but
also
this works.
Maybe also because it's space themed, it does lend itself to be like, okay, cool. Like I'm gonna give it more. Like I can disbelieve how good it looks because of the current place that we are, but. Yeah, man, it was good. Anything that you wanted to highlight before we get into the things that we want to talk poorly about the live action or anything that you really like?
Yeah. So one thing for me has always been, like I said, people have told me this show's the fucking best. It's their favorite show for years and years and years. And I had been trying to understand that. And something clicked with me when I was rewatching this. It was just of its time, man.
Yeah.
That's entirely what it was. People hadn't seen that much like really solid anime, or the anime that they had seen. Maybe it was stuff like Totoro. Maybe it was just like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, all these like very specific
the access
things,
to anime,
Sailor Moon. But this was like an adult anime that wasn't for kids. So it had a special grasp on people that way. The music was incredible. It was episodic, which at the time was something that all television did. People didn't expect to have a story that continued on. So me going into it, that's what my expectation was, is that there would be a story that continues all throughout. Even with something like Trigun did, it starts out and it's just like, all right, these two girls are trying to get this one guy who's crazy dangerous to like pay his insurance or be arrested or whatever the fuck. That's the general like, oh, we'll just kind of continue on, do stuff episode by episode storyline until it shifts at a certain point. And then with Samurai Champloo, very similar in that these characters are helping out one girl trying to find the man that smells like sunflowers. They have their drives to stay with her and they want to fight each other. And it's like a really interesting dynamic that doesn't need to have the same plot line every episode, because the general plot is we're just traveling. And that is okay for me. For Cowboy Bebop, I couldn't find the plot line. It was just very much like oh yeah, every week we're just gonna like do this.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that I struggled with more than anything with the anime.
Yeah, I think in the anime I was like, Julia, that's the plot line. Spike's past, where it's like, yeah, I don't care.
Barely,
like, but it says like at such a tiny thing, because
like it's fantastic when it's there, but like you can't. You have to look for it, and it's only there when it wants to be.
It's only there when Spike wants to be. It's like vicious. And then it's like, okay, next episode, like Julia, okay, next episode. And I'm like, it was sparse and far few in between. So yeah, I understand it not being as readily, visible for anybody. Like I was like, when is something going to happen? When is he going to say he's his brother? That over there sitting there.
For me, that was the thing that really pulled me away from it when I had first watched it. And going into it this time, I'm like, that's just how TV was. And if you're turning this on and you've never seen it before,
blow your mind.
You will be able to follow along because it's just an episodic. Who gives a shit? Unless it's one of the part two episodes.
Yeah. And you're like, what? This is different. Yeah.
So overall, I had a really positive experience watching it this time, and I was able to understand more that it was of its era, and if it did air now, I feel like it probably wouldn't get as positive reception, even if it was like updated and stuff.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
I don't think that it would get as positive reception, just based on it not really having a substantial storyline. So people would be like, dude, these episodes fucking incredible.
Yeah,
but then you watch something else like what's the fucking taxi show called?
Odd Taxi.
Thank you. Keep thinking Urban Taxi. I'm like, that's not right. Odd Taxi didn't really have like a solid plot line. It was just like a bunch of weird disconnected things that all came together, and it was something really special. Cowboy Bebop has those moments where it does visit those storylines that feel like they're more impactful, feel like they actually affect these characters' lives. And they have other ones that are just like goofy ass weird shit. Other ones that are kind of serious, but like it doesn't feel like it matters still. Like all different kinds of stuff going on there. But yeah, I think I understand why this became such a popular show. It looked so clean. It had such a specific style. It really goes for that like detective noir style, like level of cool and outfits and just tones with everything. It has a lot of moments that just like let you sit there and take things in, and it feels like it's real life. Like you could be sitting there watching Spike deal with his gun, like he's cleaning it out, he's making sure all the pieces are proper and everything, whatever. And there's no dialogue, and it's kind of just him chilling, and then Faye comes and looks at him and doesn't say anything, and it's still quiet. And that's just the way the shit is, because you're on a ship and you're just kind of doing whatever you're doing, getting ready for the next thing. So I feel like this show had some stuff that people hadn't experienced before. It did so many cool, really good things. And I get it. I get why people have this as their favorite show. Very much nostalgia at this point. But all of those reasons were really good reasons when it first came out.
That's fair.
That's my feeling on Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
No, on Cowboy Bebop. Really, really solid show. I wouldn't recommend anybody to watch it that hasn't seen it before at this point, because I feel like a lot of shows have their time and place, and that's a little bit more of a like, I mean, if you want to do it for like the history of it, but don't do it for watching a good show, because it's fine. Yeah,
there's better shows. I think it's just you take a moment to talk about like different episodes. My personal favorite episode of the entire thing was the episode where he just happens to run across like a serial killer. Like he's leaving a poker table, and he's just, actually it starts off with this guy killing a bunch of, suited men, and he's like floating in this weird, like he almost feels like a monster, like this, this top hat guy, like, just floating, and he has all these weapons and stuff, and he's killing shit. And then Spike just comes across it after leaving the bar to go like a poker game. And then it leads into this fight. That was one of my favorite episodes because it felt different. It's like it's like shit's just like,
well, it's ominous and
it's dark,
terrifying.
Right? And
that episode
scary.
They did such a good job with making everything feel different and feeling like they didn't have control over any of it, but they had to be the ones that fixed this situation.
And it was just really cool because like, then the serial killer was coming after Spike, and he was really hurt. Then we see some backstory as to like why this person is the way he is, and it's just like cool. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of like who the Bebop and who Spike is and who Jet is. But it was like, oh, this is fun. Like just to see a different
side of this world,
or different, someone else that lives in this universe, and like why they are the way they are and what's going on. And I thought the animation in that episode was super clean. That one held up really well. That was one of my favorite episodes.
I agree
in all of it. Just like they end up fighting in like an abandoned theme park or whatever. I was like, that's scary as shit. It all looked really good.
And being able to see that abandoned theme park,
Yeah.
it's a future theme park too. So they have this like little security thing that's like, you're in a dangerous area, get out of that way.
Yeah.
And like having that kind of a weird aspect of it too makes it even more surreal. It was, that episode's a really good episode.
I think
it's
my
near
favorite
the
one.
end.
Yeah, it's like not even necessary. Like you could have put that episode like near the beginning, in the middle. Obviously couldn't put it at the very end because then there's kind of a plot at the very end. But like, yeah, it just felt like, hey, this could go anywhere. And I enjoyed that one. That was probably my favorite one.
I would say in general, every episode feels really similar to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Except there's, the different kinds of episodes. You do have the goofy ones, you have the serious ones, and you have the in-between, right? Cowboy one, goofy.
Goofy. With the teddy bomber,
goofy.
yeah, that was...
Yeah. The mushroom one, clearly goofy.
Goofy.
Like, they're doing weird shit in the desert, all that stuff. Then they have the really serious ones that could be goofy, like the one that you love. Like, it just shows that they understand how to make every situation feel like how they intend.
Yeah, just different tones. They were like aware of this, like, what tone are we going for this episode? It's
like
dark.
A magic
it's scary.
flying man who like does flips in the air that are very whimsical and goofy. Terrifying. Like, how did they do that?
Like like he's getting his ass kicked, and then we see the shadow of him just being like kicked repeatedly, like looped twice. I'm like, that's fucking dope. Eventually, like, I don't want.
If you haven't seen, Cowboy Bebop,
there's a point.
Everyone's seen
there's
it.
a point where
everyone's listening because they have.
There's a point where Spike gets away, and then like we just see the shadow of the man just floating there, like, and then it's like it doesn't disappear or evaporate the way I thought it would, and that really blew my mind. Like,
okay,
and I was like, wow, that was done really well. Like, it took me for a second to be like, what happened? It's like, oh, he went straight up. I don't know. It's fucking like, I'm like, chill. And it was good. It held up. Like, here 2021, I was like, that was done really well. Now they try to do it in the live action and so it's good, and we'll talk about that. But but that was for sure one of my favorite episodes.
Dude, when that episode was airing, my buddy Cole hopped in Discord. I was watching it with Kyle while fucking around on Final Fantasy and stuff. And Cole hops in and I'm like, these fucking stupid ass clown bullshit. He's like, this person, like, he knew the character that I was talking about. And I'm like, yeah, but no. Like, no, it's not that character.
I don't want to,
but it is that
sully
character.
him.
It was so upsetting. And he was like, I don't want any spoilers. And I'm like, look, man,
don't watch this.
Please don't.
Do yourself a favor and don't.
That episode in particular was making me like absolutely livid.
Yeah, I think me too, because I liked it so much, and then I was just like, how did they do it so wrong? Why did you do this? And there was times like I knew they were trying to like copy it or emulate it. I was like, fuck, dude, that was horrible. It was the whole thing.
But without a doubt, my favorite storylines are the two-parter episodes. Those are my favorite episodes for sure. Something about them learning about what's happening with the parts of their lives that they aren't willing to talk about. It makes them feel extra vulnerable, and it makes me care about the characters a lot deeper, because it's something that they aren't willing to address and actively aren't. And then when they finally have to address that part of their lives, they feel so just honest and different. And I really liked connecting with the characters in a new way and feeling like I got to know them for who they actually are versus who they present themselves as. So being able to see Faye's storyline at the very end of the show, I love that. I love that it takes that long for you to be able to see her like sending herself a message and all that stuff. And honestly, Jet's storyline is least interesting to me.
In the anime?
Just in general. He's never been my favorite character because he didn't have a storyline that I really connected with.
But then they added one in the live action. I was like,
and I was like, you
should have left him alone.
What the fuck? But like Ed, I really like Ed. I like where Ed comes from. I like how Ed is able to just be positive and spread good no matter where Ed is. Ed brings this positivity with her. Even just Ayn having some weird stuff, them hooking Ayn up to the like virtual reality headset thing, and then I'm just like, I fucking got this. And he's shooting his eyes all over the place, and they see what he's doing, and he's like hacking a mainframe. It's like, what the fuck? I even like that. I like knowing that this dog had to go through some shit and is like,
I'm not a normal dog. Yeah.
is aware of everything despite the circumstances.
It's like everyone on the Bebop has their own thing. So do I.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. It's super cool. So all those moments where we get to see their backstory in the anime, those land for me hard, especially with Greenbird's and Spike's background. Oh man, that song is just so good. Every time it gets me good. I don't know. There's so much to love with the anime. It's a really easy show to be like, oh yeah, that was a good thing. But me being a brat for years, it's just like, it's just not as good as everyone says it is. And I still stand by that, by the way.
It's good.
But it's really like now I'm able to appreciate it in a different way. But I still have the exact same sentiment that I did when I first watched it, which is I wanted it to be better. I thought we were going to have cool storylines going on throughout this whole thing. And I had these complaints. And I think that the live action people might have had some similar
things that
they would have liked to change.
Yeah.
So they included a lot more of that backstory stuff, and they stretched it out over the course of an entire season, and you would get a little taste every episode. And oh my god.
Yeah. So the live action.
Why?
I didn't know what it was going to be because I actively refused to watch any of this stuff.
Why aren't you watching it? Why can't you get mad with me?
So I don't want to because I just got mad for 10 hours and didn't have to get mad.
10 hours. It should have only been like a good 5, man.
We talk about right? It's 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And they're each 40 minutes, an hour long, right?
They were like 30 each,
I thought. 45.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh no.
They were long. They were not. I wish it was. Did you skip a few?
No, I didn't. Yeah. I did not. I just didn't realize it because what I did is I watched all of it. I started out and I watched all of it until I got to episode 10. I didn't know how many episodes there were. I got to episode 10. I was like 8 minutes into it, and I went, I can't watch anymore. How many episodes are left? This is the last one. I can't watch anymore.
Yeah, damn,
that's
really?
How bad it was. That's how I want you to know my experience went. It was not a positive one. It was just, I'm going to do this all in one sitting, and I couldn't do it. It makes more sense that it was 10 hours.
Yeah.
Because I'm not paying attention to the time. I'm just watching.
No, I did I did go and see how many episodes it was. I was like, cool, 10 episodes, let's do this. And then I watched the first one. I was just like, I'm not going to be able to do all of this. And then I did 6, took a break, finished the last 4.
And we truly are carrying that weight. And that's the thing, man.
It is killing us. What was I saying? So anyways, I didn't know what was going to be. I honestly thought that we were going to get into this and watch episodes. These new things would be episodes within episodes. Like, cool, episode 1 and 2.
Because that's what they said they're going to do. They said that they're going to do stuff that's in between the episodes, so it might reference the storylines from other things. No,
they didn't.
This is we're just watching somebody's fucking gross fan fiction.
They just remade everything, but they're like, cool, we'll just make it all try to make sense and connect all of it. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Every time they're like, cool, remember this storyline, like with the fucking clown dude? We'll make that somehow fit, What about this bit with the fucking... they didn't even do the little harmonica boy. I like that episode too. Didn't put him in.
Lots of good shit that they could have put in, saving it for the next season.
Oh, God.
But the first episode starts out, and
it's a heist. It's for the heist, right?
Yeah. Well, it starts, and I've already known, okay, so this is supposed to be in between episodes. I've already told Kyle, I'm like, man, don't worry about that. You don't need to have seen Cowboy Bebop.
It's all new stuff.
This is brand new.
Yeah.
And then the entire first episode, I was like, so that was just like a really fucked up version of Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
That all happened in the anime, just so you know. I don't know why it did, but they're going with, I guess, the anime. And then the next episode starts, and I'm like, I don't know what's fucking going on.
Well, they tricked me for sure, because the first episode is him stopping a casino robbery, and I was like, oh, cool. I don't remember this kind of happening. I remember there being a casino, but I don't think this happened in the casino. And then Jet shows up. I was like, this is new. This is all new stuff. And then intro pops up, and then the episode starts, and I go, fuck it, this is the first episode. This is the first episode with the fucking little New Mexico, little Tijuana, new Tijuana or whatever, and they're doing the ice shit in the bar, and fuck, and it was all downhill from there. Every time a new episode started, I saw the episode name, I remember that name.
I sent you this clip that was a scene of them. They all met up at a bar after Faye had been shot in the shoulder and for some reason didn't go and get that taken care of.
Well, because she couldn't, because she's broke. But yeah.
Fuck it, whatever. She should have been able to be like, guys, let's go back to the ship. Let's help me out a little bit.
Well, they weren't boys yet. Like, she shows up and she's like, hey,
yeah,
it's after that gala thing. Yet,
but she saw them, so she would have to be like, I'm really fucked up. You guys think you could help me out? I know I screwed you over.
Yeah.
Because that seems like something that, her character might do. She might be like a little bit more entitled about it in some way in the anime. But in this show, her character's a totally different character. And instead of being like, I'm really fucked up right now, she's like, sup, boys? We're having drinks. Let's all have drinks.
Don't mind me. Yeah.
But somebody added in a laugh track over that entire scene.
It was so good.
And it fit perfectly. I don't think that that's a good thing. I will just say that, like, it's very much a sitcom, and they don't have laugh tracks, but the jokes they're not substantial enough to warrant laughs every time. So when they put in that laugh track, it was like, yeah, that was a joke. Wow, that was a joke.
Yeah,
these are jokes. It was like all clicking with me. I was like, what the fuck? This show is so, like, the jokes weren't funny. Yeah. They were so bad.
Well, there's like, the one that in that specific dining room
that
scene,
little bar scene. Yeah.
What's funny is that, like, you sent me the laugh track. I'd already seen the whole show, and I was watching it, and I was like, for some reason, their dialogue reigned more true in the clip that you showed. Like,
yeah.
Like, I actually listened to what they said.
Like, if it was an episode of Seinfeld, versus an episode of Cowboy Bebop,
and there's a bit where Jet says, like, oh man, they got a bidet in the back. And I remember watching it the first time past, like, oh, I remember him mentioning a bidet or whatever. I didn't realize that the joke was that he uses his feet in the bidet instead to clean his butt. And I was just like, what? I was like, hold on. Why is that a joke? Second of all, who wrote Jet to be such a fucking idiot? Like, Jet's a bounty hunter that flies a fucking spaceship, but he doesn't know what a bidet does?
I mean, the jokes throughout Cowboy Bebop that are similar to that are this guy loves stuff from the 20th century, like, let's go there. They don't understand the value of anything, and Spike puts out his cigarette on a VHS player, and then this guy loses his fucking mind, and Spike's like, I mean, it looks like trash to me. Whatever, who cares? It's just metal. We just put stuff out on metal all the time. Like, that's kind of his attitude about the whole thing. They went for that with a misunderstanding of technology that's ancient, and they were like, nobody washes their ass. What the fuck?
But the thing that also confused me about that joke is that, like, Jet says, I love a bidet. It's so good.
Yeah, exactly.
And then fucking, I've already forgot his name. Fucking Spike is just like, cool. You're real. It's like, yeah, man, it gets all the nook and crannies. It feels so good on your feet. So why is Spike the one that knows that bidets are for your ass?
Exactly.
But Jet doesn't.
Jet's always been the smart one. Spike's been the kind of dumbass.
Right. And I was just like, what a huge fumble when it comes to knowing your characters. So whoever wrote it absolutely fucked. I mean, that's not the reason the show's bad. It's just an example.
No, that is the reason the show's bad.
I'm not saying that joke.
That joke is not. But the writing and the understanding of the characters is the reason the live action does not work.
It sucks, yeah.
But you guys, I have a little secret. If you want to enjoy live action, if you really want to enjoy the live action Cowboy Bebop, pretend that this takes place in the Space Dandy universe.
Boom, problem solved.
You're done. It's not cool anymore. It has elements that our characters think are cool, but it's not cool. Space Dandy is not cool. He's a dandy in space.
He's a dandy guy in space. Yeah.
And that's exactly how this feels. It feels like we're watching a dandy in space. Spike is way more space dandy in this than he is Spike.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just a little life hack there.
Dandy Spiegel.
Life pro tip.
Yeah, that's not some bad advice, honestly.
I mean, it's still not good.
No,
like, that will make it way better than Cowboy Bebop.
Another thing that I didn't like about the live action was that sometimes it was like they decided when to pick and choose to care about things. Like, they would take a moment and be like, cool, we're going to add this background to the specific place or whatever. And sometimes it just felt like they were in a warehouse with the green screen. Like,
sometimes,
you know, like, I was like, oh, this feels like the exact same set that you had from that last episode. And it felt like no one lived in this world.
Well, that's okay. First off, absolutely does not feel lived in. But a part of that not feeling lived in whole aspect of it is because we had so many close-ups. Yeah. Just close-ups of characters having a conversation.
Yeah.
Not both of them. No,
Yeah.
you just see one person talking to nobody with just like metal walls behind them, and then another person with metal walls behind them just talking back. They're so disconnected from the world that they're in.
There was episodes absolutely where there was crowds. Like there's a bar episode, right? Like cool, there's a crowd in the background. But there's an episode where they're bowling and they're the only fuckers bowling, right? And it's like, why isn't there anybody else shooting bowling things? Yeah. Like, and I get like maybe it's a dated thing, but why have bowling alleys if no one's gonna be there? They leave the bowling alley. Spike gets the shit beat out of him by the fucking clown dude. This is the episode that that I was like, this sucks dick. Still, no one there to see it happen, and they're just like, it's an empty. It just baffles me, dude. Like he lights
this
the
world
trash
is
can
very empty.
He lights the trash can on fire. Like we got to get around this dump. Like no one's there to help.
The crazy thing is that they go out of their way to show that there are these big ass buildings and these planets that they're on, that they're clearly there because it's inhabited, that there are people. But it doesn't fucking matter how many people there would be in this giant ass building that our characters have to be right next to, because they're always in an abandoned area, or if they are somewhere that has people, it's not that many people. It's not like the future that, we all expect.
Overcrowded and shit like that. Yeah. There's like no one there.
Pretty much all sci-fi, I feel like, knows. Either you go for, it's a desolate part that nobody exists there. It's just like some weird bullshit that's just out in space. Nobody lives there because it sucks. Or everybody is everywhere because humans have overpopulated everything.
Sucks, yeah.
And guess what? Other alien species have done the same thing. They're also overpopulated. So that's why you have things like... Do you remember the beginning of what was it? What's the French anime that we watched?
Oh, Valerian
and the
Lorelei
Planet of 1,000 Stars or something.
The anime was called Valerian and Lorelei.
Right, the movie is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Valerian. Planet of 1,000 Stars or Planet of 1,000 Cities or some shit like that.
Something like that. The intro was so cool because it was just like, all right, all these different alien races are coming and joining this giant space station.
It was nuts, yeah.
Intergalaxy planetary, I don't know what to call it because I don't know how far it extends, but they just had all these different races that were coming there, and then it got to a point where everything was so incredibly overpopulated everywhere, which is a very just like natural sci-fi thing to just kind of happen. I think that did a great job at showing how that happens, which is why I bring it up. But yeah, Cowboy Bebop live action didn't matter where they were. It never felt like they were always in their spaceship. Yeah. Like I guess that's kind of how it. Even when they're out in public, even when they're like at a house or whatever. And that was another fucked up thing. They decided to be like, yeah, we're gonna show a suburban ass house.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Jets
do
and Dad.
that.
We're like, I think she says it's my daughter's birthday coming up. I was like, what? Shut the fuck up.
Since when?
Yeah, that shit blew my mind. I was just like, he's got a kid. He gets his kid a dog. Because I was like, where the fuck is the dog showing up, right? And the dog shows up, and they're like, oh, here's the dog. And the mom's like, dogs are expensive. It's like, how are dogs expensive? No one wants them. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, they explained that it's an exotic animal, and you have to pay an extra tax for that.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Sure, whatever.
Yes, yeah.
But also
in the anime, the corgi wasn't. They're like, this corgi is worth nothing. It's
exactly.
garbage.
That's what I liked about it is that they were like, that dog fucking sucks,
bro.
It's a genius dog,
bro. I'll give you $100, like $100, which is nothing, right? As opposed to like 1,000 or 100,000.
All right,
keep going.
So let's see what else, because I'm trying to figure out when I should talk about the thing that made this just not work at all.
Talk about the very end.
No, I'm just talking about just throughout. I guess in general, let's talk some compliments. The biggest compliment that I have for this show is that we had similar songs from
music-wise? Okay.
Yeah, from the anime, but they were redone, and we had some other anime original songs and stuff. And this was all being done by Yoko Kanno, and she's been doing shit for fucking ever. A lot of people know her probably best from Standalone Complex, the Ghost in a Shell.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. She did the music for that. She's done some Gundam shit, Wolf's Rain, Zankyou no Terror. You remember that? Lots of stuff. So she's been around for a while, and she absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
I think that the soundtrack was great because they updated songs to sound a little bit different, a little bit more electric, I guess, which is cool. It worked a lot of the time. While still remaining like, oh yeah, they have some like classics that they're not going to do a whole lot with, and they're pretty much keeping the exact same songs. At one point, they had the like goofy stuff going on song, and I was like, good. I'm glad that carried over.
That made it over. Yeah.
Kept wondering. I'm like, are they going to put green birds in this because they're doing a lot of good stuff? Yeah, of course. They have to wait until the last episode, but yeah, they did it. Sure, whatever.
I think music wise, which is like the anime is super like known for, like in the live action, I'm not going to say it was bad. You know, it's just like that was nice.
The music was so good.
It just sucks that it was connected to this other stuff that sucked.
Oh yeah. And then on top of all of that shit, we also had. I feel okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm complimenting every part of the live action show, which there were a lot of really good parts, I think, and 2 parts that really fell flat. So all of their acting, I feel like they were doing a pretty damn good job with everything that they had.
I feel like they were doing the best they could with what they had.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah, there were absolutely moments where I felt like, oh, that feels like a very Jet moment, or that feels like a very Spike moment. That feels like a very good Jet and Spike moment, right?
Like they nailed certain parts.
Yeah, there's also times where I go, God, that doesn't feel like them at all, and it's probably because of the way it was written.
It's because of the writing. The acting on point. I feel like they all try to like embody their character as much as possible, but a lot of the times the script wouldn't allow for that.
Yeah, and I think Faye feels a little bit different because I feel like they tried to change her character.
They did. They tried to change her a lot, and it comes down to everybody online starts bitching immediately, like, why isn't she wearing her outfit that she wears where she's like naked?
Yeah, they're gonna over-sexualize
Everyone was bitching about that. I'm like, I don't give a shit what she wears. Like, cool, it's her outfit. As long as she wears something that's like kind of the same like tone, I guess, as her. Yeah, same color scheme, but like also gives us the same impression of who she is as a person. Because I don't think her outfit necessarily described who she was as a person. It was just one of her like tactics that she would use to get things from people when she needed to use her looks for help.
And I feel like if we're doing like out of the 3, 2 out of 3 comic, I was about to say comic book accurate, anime accurate, costumes is better than none, right? They could have been like, cool, we're just gonna cut Spike's wardrobe, he's gonna wear fucking shorts now, and and Jet's gonna wear all white. Like they could have like, no, they for sure did their best to make them look like it. There were moments, and I think it's just lighting, camera angles and stuff, where it's like, I think what's his name, the Jet's Spike's real name.
Fearless?
No, the actor's name.
Oh, I don't remember.
Something.
I'm not an actor. John.
Yeah, I feel like there's times where like
I think his last name. Though.
If he didn't move, if he stood in the right spot, he looked a lot like Spike. Mm-hmm. And then I think if he turned a little bit, it was like, or started speaking or something, like cool. But I'm like, oh, those wrinkles, the way your face moved, like you look too old to be Spike, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like for Jet, it wasn't. I feel like Jet looked pretty.
He was pretty all right.
Very accurate. Yeah. I mean.
Sometimes his eyes looked way fake and like way too intense.
For sure, the context they added.
Exactly.
I feel like in the show, I don't know if Jet was actually African American, like his his skin tone. I couldn't tell you what ethnicity he was.
It was like olive in the anime.
Yeah, so
ambiguous.
In the anime, in the live action when they make it black, I was like, cool. Like they found
race changes to me doesn't fucking matter.
I think they found like the right build, right? They found a guy that has a good head to be shaved.
He's got a good voice for it too.
The voice was really good. I liked the voice a lot.
I think he was very well cast.
I think the thing I disliked about him was the facial hair felt really fake. But
it did.
But how are you going to make someone grow that ridiculous thing, right? Obviously, to get the right shape of it. So it's like, we'll give it a pass. But still, I think he looked accurate. So like visually, that was good. And yeah, Faye didn't wear her ridiculous outfit, which I don't blame her. Like I wouldn't wear that either.
Yeah, no, that's an unrealistic outfit to do shit in.
It looks great for cosplay and photos for at cons and stuff. But like the fact that she wore that, I feel like makes more sense. Especially since they decided to change her character. Do I like the character changes?
No, I don't like her.
No, she's just.
I tried to like her. She's very rambunctious. And it doesn't feel like she puts a lot of thought into the things that she does.
I never felt any real like sympathy for her. The fact that she doesn't have her memories. In the anime, they did a good job of me being like, feeling bad for her not knowing who she is and her feeling lost.
Well, there are these. I think with the anime, specifically with that kind of like scene going on where she's watching her video and she's, experiencing the emotions about everything. I think that they were able to do that in a lot better way than the live action, because close-ups on a character's face as they're crying, most people when they cry, they make a pretty gross face.
Ugly cries, yeah, for sure.
In an anime setting, you can make the characters a straight face
and
with
then
with like eyes tearing up and like cries, and she looks intense all the time.
You have more control over it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She looks like she's doing exactly. So that moment is like she can't control, like, even though everything in her is like, oh yeah, this is how I'm behaving, like she couldn't control that moment. I don't think that they could accurately capture that from any human actor. Like,
yeah,
I don't think that they would be able to do that as well as an animated thing.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
Especially because the idea of watching a video of yourself being like, hey, how are you? Like, what's going on with your life? Not a super cool, like, if it were me, I would be like, all right, this is cringe. Like, fucking, yeah.
Like, who let, a 12-year-old Juan do this? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't remember who I am. Fuck you, kid me. Whatever
I'm high right now. Leave me alone.
Like, I'm trying to, like, I don't know, not kill myself
trying
today.
to get this buzz on, bro.
But then watching it in the anime, it's like, okay, they can do all different kinds of things. It feels a little bit more like, yeah, this is a weird video that's playing back, and this isn't something that anybody gets. Like, it all felt a lot more surreal than it did in the live action. One thing that I especially noted from the scene of Faye watching that video is that there are some shots, or maybe there's just one shot, whatever, that it shows the TV screen at an angle, so like everything is tilted on it. And that, to me, is where the live action was like, we need to do stuff like that. Like, that helped. And the reason it helps in the anime is because it makes it feel more real. Because if you just see a flat TV that's just like doing its thing and you're just watching the video straight on, okay. But now we have the context of the television is at an angle and it's a real fucking TV and it's a real video, and Faye's watching that. So even though it's not showing Faye's reaction, it's not showing anything other than like the audio and like a very, very tilted version of the video. It just added so much more to show that these things are happening. This is really going on. But then the live action was like, yeah, but those weird angles, that's really what it's all about. It doesn't matter what it's doing. We just need all of those.
I just love episode 1 where it's like, this person's talking to that person. They go, let's cut to this Dutch angle from high above. And they go, cool. Next person, they cut from the reverse Dutch angle from high above. And they just go back and forth. It's like, why?
Yeah, I know, right?
Please stop. Yeah.
Anybody that's studied film just goes, this doesn't have a reason.
Like motion sickness, I'm feeling,
Yeah, exactly. More than anything, it was disorienting. And that's what it's supposed to do. But it was doing that when it shouldn't be disorienting.
Yeah, like there's the that thing goes back and forth. Jets, I think he's talking to like his old like cop buddy who's not his buddy, who's fucking his wife or whatever. He's like, I'm leaving. So he like walks away. And then they do a really high shot from behind and like to show the fucking police precinct. I'm like, why the fuck do we do it? Was baffling.
Like there are certain points where it makes sense where if you pulled away and you saw that, you would be like, ooh, now I truly understand the situation.
I understand what's going on. Yes,
but it never serves a purpose like that.
No.
It's not like there was an extra depth to that scene. It was just written in so that they could make a backstory for Jet because they forgot about it in the anime. Probably, I'm the best. I do all the writing here for all the live action Cowboy Bebops. I know what I'm talking about.
Besides them doing it for the sake of doing it, it really didn't add to stuff. It was just kind of, it was hard to not notice. Let's see. We talked about characters. I want to talk about the choreography for the fights and stuff because, like, like in the anime, it is older, so they do action a little. I think a lot of it can hold up. One of my favorite fights was the clown fight. I think it was like really interesting. There's a really dope like silhouette thing going on, like a shadow thing going on. And in the show, like they're, fucking Spike is trained in martial arts, maybe multiple martial arts. We don't know what type, right? But like,
we're not allowed to know.
We don't know, but he's practicing his martial arts and stuff, so he can kick ass, right? He's always been like so like it makes sense that in the anime, in the live action, like, cool, we got to make him be able to fight. For some reason, like, I don't know, the choreography just felt like it felt really like stiff. Yeah, very stiff, very like forced, very not natural. It was more like, all right, we're gonna do a couple of these, and then we meet at this pose. We have to meet here. It's like we're fighting here, but now we meet at this and hit this angle.
See, in anime, that really works.
It holds, yeah.
Yeah, because there are moments where it's like, ooh, you could hang on to them like dodging something to show like, oh man, I really tried to get away from that one, and then go back into the fight, and then it's like a quick little like whippy movements.
Yeah.
It makes sense in an animated form, but when it's live action, that's not the way shit actually goes. So our dumb human brains can't go, this is not realistic. Instead, we just go, no.
There's a point where like he's fighting and he does like a bunch of really fast punches on someone's stomach, like, and I'm just like, that looks fucking awful in live action. Like, why did no one test this? Like, take some shots of this, and if they did test it, why did they okay it? Because it looks like fucking ass. There's so many just like really snoozes of like fights that I had to like deal with. Like there's a fight on the roof where he's fighting that dude. One of the fights near the very end, I feel like, where'd the chair come from? Shit like that. I was like, it's just fucking awful. It's just like,
I always go back to the scene that Netflix decided to share, where there's fighting with a single gun in the bathroom, and it looked so stiff and so dumb, and it didn't look like it was a part of the anime at all. It just felt like it was its own thing that did not work.
Yeah.
It was so weird. I'm like, why choose that clip? And then I watched the whole show, and I'm like,
that's,
you could have chose any of them, but like, okay, whatever.
When that clip was happening, I thought like, oh, maybe they're doing like, trying to do like John Wick gun fu, he's boom boom, the way he drop is gonna catch it.
It's just so much different.
We
have like the most professional gun handling people ever, a bunch of stunt people that are in charge of everything. They're directing it. They've like done these fights in person plenty of times before, and I'm sure that a lot of work went into learning this, that specific scene. But at the same time, your director and your writer and like everybody involved aren't people who use guns.
No, yeah. It's
versus John Wick, who everybody is like, yeah, my life is guns and stunts.
I am guns, yeah.
Of course they're going to be able to do a better thing in John Wick than Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
So why even fucking try Cowboy Bebop? You could have done so many other things.
They should have done something. Yeah, they should have been like, cool. The point isn't to try to copy the anime Cowboy Bebop, is try to just emulate an interesting, fluid, some sort of hybrid of combat in the future, right?
Yeah,
and just make it look cool, and we'll be like, oh, dope. Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
Spike didn't do that weird like fucking gainer kick, no scope, whatever they does in the anime. But who gives a fuck? He did this other thing where he punched someone in the face with the fucking Bible or some shit like that.
Whatever it was.
It's just really like they redid the clown double kicking Spike and him looping twice in the air, and I was like, in the anime, I thought it looked so fucking cool. In live action, I was like, that looks so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Especially when they cut to him falling on the ground. It looks like he was like a foot off the ground, and then they hit action, and then they dropped him.
It sucks when that happens a lot.
I was like, what the fuck? It's just bad.
And that's mostly a problem with things on set versus editing when that doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have the footage that would make it look good is usually the way it is.
Yeah.
Because the editors killed it. I think that they fucking crushed it.
With what they had, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, there were so many things. Like, you could tell in the intro alone how much love was put into the editing. And I didn't see anything that was like, ooh, yeah, that's some, like, bad CG. Like, nothing like that.
Yeah.
There was so much CG in this. Yeah. It looked incredible. All the scenes flowed together fine. Like, the editing was fine. They did everything as good as they could do. It really came down to the weird directing choices.
Yeah.
More than anything, it was just like, why are we getting these angles? Why is the writing this way? Like, why are we doing it any of the ways that you chose to do it? But the acting, the sets, the music, the editing, they had so many things were on point. And then they just,
they fucked it.
Well, because like you were saying, it doesn't matter what Spike does. In this, look, man, I'm going to be real with you. Spike's actor is old.
He is. Oh,
he shouldn't be moving the way that Spike moves.
Good on him, though. He got in great shape, It's just like,
yeah.
He really wanted to be Spike, and he did a great job. Good for him.
But if they change Spike's fighting style, if they change something like that to be like, oh, yeah, I've been in a lot of fights. I'm older now.
To accommodate the way he looks,
Yeah. now I use trickery in my fights or whatever.
Like more like Jackie Chan kind of. Yeah,
some kind of shit like that. And I think that they were trying to do an homage, maybe not. I think that they were trying to do an homage to Jackie Chan with that bathroom fight scene.
Okay.
Because he takes a towel, he wraps it around the guy's hand with the gun, and he disarms him that way. Right? It's very reminiscent of Jackie Chan's like jacket fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except it's way more fluid when Jackie's able to like take off his jacket, take two people out with it somehow, and then whip it back on naturally. That dude is like, his whole life is doing that. Sorry, an actor isn't going to do that. Yeah. It's a stunt person versus an actor. It's not going to work.
He's not. Yeah, Jackie Chan's a martial artist first, actor second, right?
Yeah.
The Spike in this one is for sure an actor who wanted to learn some martial arts, and it looks like it. You know, it looks like he's been training for at least a year, maybe 2. But it's like that's not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough.
It wasn't.
That
enough.
sucks.
No. Yeah, it's.
I just watched Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I think I should bring that up because that was a kung fu movie.
What do you think?
I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Didn't I tell you, like, I was like, there's parts where I'm like, it feels very like reminiscent of like old, like an homage to like older kung fu movies at points.
Oh yeah, no,
it's still a Marvel movie. Don't get me wrong.
No, there's a whole bus scene that was very inspired by Jackie Chan and Old Boy, and then you have that whole other scene that was very
the mom and the dad, like
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, that's exactly what I got when I saw that. Yeah,
and that's what they were doing, and it worked, and it was good. And in Cowboy Bebop, the way that they have these fight scenes coordinated. The people weren't trained well enough. I don't think
they didn't do good. They should have focused more.
It sucks,
or made it different. Just like don't just.
And the dudes who worked on Shang-Chi doing those fights and those sequences and whatnot, they're stuntmen. They're directing the camera. They're directing everything.
Yeah.
They're stuntmen that are doing all this. Not only that, I mean, you also have, and I'm sure that there were plenty of body doubles in Cowboy Bebop. I'm not going to say that there weren't. Lots of stuntmen doing stuff in that, but the moments where it was the actors, you could really tell. However, in Shang-Chi, seemingly was able to absolutely kill it in the scenes where he was actually doing stuff. Like, he had to learn a lot, and it was so fluid and so much better than Cowboy Bebop in the like fight kung fu scenes.
He'd also been doing martial arts for like years.
Exactly. That's the thing. Yeah. It's like, is that they hired for that.
It's like, what? It's like cool. Like, you're an actor. You look the part. Do you have any skills fighting? It's like, yeah, I know how to do these martial arts. Like, cool. This is a great base to build off, and now we're going to teach you how to do these specific things, right? It's like, no, I don't know why they didn't cast someone younger for this.
They didn't need him to look like Spike. He doesn't look like Spike already.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they just get somebody younger, more adept, more background in martial arts?
In the anime, Spike absolutely looks like a white guy. Like, you
wouldn't know. But again, a lot of anime, like, they just have white looking characters and they're all assumed to be Japanese.
Yeah, it's like, especially like with a name like Spike, it doesn't lead me to be like, oh, this guy's Japanese.
But it's the future.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it also being the future, race isn't as big as a deal. So it's like, there's so many people who live, like, it's more like, what planet are you from as opposed to like, what race are you, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, cool.
Oh, you're Mars.
You're from like one of the planets, one of the moons on Jupiter or whatever. It's like, or Venus and shit like that. So it makes sense that, like, I get it. Like, this guy, I know this guy's wanted to be Spike for a long time, and maybe he had some hand in making this happen. But you'd think that would want what's best for it, or like maybe the people would want what's best for it, and then hire like someone
just want to watch the world burn.
Someone age appropriate, someone who can do the things that they want to do. It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine. Maybe when I say that, I mean it was bad.
All right. My biggest complaints more than anything though are the Dutch angles and the writing, and it just if it would be like, oh yeah, there's that coveted Dutch angle like once per episode. No, once per fucking scene.
Second.
It was all over the place. It was crazy, nonstop. Blew my mind. I didn't like that at all. I don't think it added anything. I don't think the writing was anything good. But then they also take plot lines from the anime and they actually like try to do what they can with them. And it doesn't work. When we're talking about fucking clowns and magicians and all that shit, I'm watching the live action and I'm going, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen. I hate this. And then watching it in the anime is just like, this is horrifying and it looks so much better.
So nice, yeah.
They didn't need to make him have all that face paint because the face paint just looked fucking stupid. The music was stupid. Like they didn't have enough. The setting didn't feel real. Like so many parts.
Like in the one before, like we see him like in the anime, he's fighting his fight. He's doing a bunch of stuff, and then there's a point where he opens up his trench coat and we see like his weapons. I was like, oh my god! Like
it becomes horrifying because he's already been flying around. He's exploded stuff. He's done all different kinds of things. He's like, hey, Spike, what's going on? Opens up his magical trench coat full of weapons.
He gets shot at and he's wearing some sort of like shield or whatever. Yeah. It's like he's almost impenetrable. He's invincible. He's terrifying. In the live action, he just like Spike sees him and he literally just goes like flashes him with all his shit. I'm like, this, like, look at those plastic rubber fucking butchers, like fucking knives you got in there. Like, you look ridiculous.
And it worked its way up to that moment in the anime. And that's one of the problems with all of the live action is that they have these moments that the anime works up until, and then it like really builds to that point. It does something fucking awesome, and then it's gone from that, and it doesn't hang on it at all. Other times in the live action, they go, "All right, that's the important part. We need to make sure to do that." But how do we get changed literally everything?
Yeah.
Just throw it in.
Yeah. Figure it out.
That line. I can't remember if it's the last episode or the second to last, but in the anime where Vicious like is broken free, they shoot the chains off of him, and he grabs his sword and he says, "And your eyes will like rain tears of blood," or something like that, right? And he slashes that dude across his eyes. That's been building up for a while. Like we had the elders and whatnot there. It was a whole like huge thing, and they were like, "What if he just did that to some guy,
some random dude?" Yeah.
And he just does that to some guy.
Yeah,
and it's cool, but it doesn't have any
there's
gravitas.
No payoff. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, it didn't feel like you earned anything.
No,
it's
not
like,
at all.
Why doesn't this guy just say that shit to everybody? Like he could just say random shit to people all the time. Like I don't know. I will say there was that episode. Like I think it's episode 2 or 3, and leads into episode 4. It might be episode 2 leading to 3. It's just like there's a bit where they don't get enough money to buy the doll for the kid, or they do buy the doll and it gets like thrown off the thing and it gets ran over and shit. And the episode starts. I'm like, cool, can't wait to see something new or whatever. And it's literally like them in the alleyway holding the doll. I was like, no, like we're picking up literally where we fell off. Like the one thing I ended up really liking about Cowboy Bebop, which was the episodical bit. I was just like, they're not doing that, right? So that's something that fucking killed me because of they're trying to just weave everything in together while adding new stories to people and new fucking.
But it makes sense why they would do that though, and that's the thing that's frustrating. It's like I get it. I get why you would do that. That's what I wanted when I was a kid.
But I'm an adult now. I know better. Yeah.
Well, the way that I see that they've done it, they didn't do it in a way that felt natural at all.
Right.
And they didn't like build up those character moments. One of the things that was so cool about that, like, oh, we're learning about the background, is that it would just be brief. It wasn't the entire point of the show. What I wanted is a plot line to carry the show or a goal for the entire show. Versus just like it's a slice of life, because it is just a slice of life, episodic sitcom ass bullshit, with like important episodes here and there. I don't care about those important episode plot lines being around the entire show. I just loved those moments because it felt like they had more weight, felt like they were important and mattered so much more. And if we had a goal through the entire thing, and we revisited that goal every once in a while, cool. Still keep it episodic. You could have given these characters a direction for the show and then just had that as the central plot line instead of weaving all their backstories that weren't good together. I really, really did not enjoy what they did with Jet at all. I thought Spike's whole thing was a bunch of baloney and didn't work well in the live action.
Well, my least favorite thing about all of it has to be Vicious. And fucking, is it Julie, right?
Julia. Yeah.
It's like, I get it because they are in the anime, absolutely. But there's like this mysterious to them. Like there's like
you don't know.
We don't know anything about them.
Okay.
And it's like, but I know that they're important to Spike, and eventually they become like really pivotal moments, especially like in those final 2 episodes, right?
Yeah.
But in the live action, there's like, cool, we're gonna give these guys backstories and characters, and like it's like cool, but the backstories and characters they picked, I fucking hate. Like it made me. Vicious was so cool in the anime because he's just a bad guy, and I don't know why he was a bad guy, but he was just evil, and I knew he was the opposite of Spike. Spike had something against him, and they seem to have some relationship. And this one's like, who is he? He's like, he's the kid of somebody who is in the syndicate, and he's trying to make his way, and he's kind of a bitch, and he's a fucking liar, and he's like, he thinks everybody owes him stuff, and I was like, oh, I hate you. Like,
you're just a whiny, shitty villain.
Yeah, and you're like,
I'm not afraid of you.
And exactly. And the only reason like that you're like cool with Spike is because, or Spike likes you, is because you saved his life and you adopted him, and like that's why Spike is also a bad guy, fearless. God, fuck, like even that is like, oh, like it took so long to say who he is and who, like, he's vicious, I'm fearless. Like those are both garbage names in context together. I feel like Vicious in the show is like, that is a cool thing. I don't know what Vicious's last name is. I don't know who this guy is, but he's just like, oh my god, it's fearless. I'm like, you fucking talk about Spike. Spike's already like a dope name. It's like naming your character the Immortal Cowboy. It's like, oh, okay, cool. You're gonna name him the coolest thing in the world you can think of just for the sake of being cool.
Just because it's fucking red.
Hey, yeah. I'm Vicious, and this is my boy,
Vicious.
Fearless.
Hey, Fearless.
It's that shit was so bad. I just did not like him. Didn't like his whole vibe. He could kick ass at points, I guess. Like, there's that point where he fights all those people, you know, when he's all chained up.
In the, like, yellow room.
Oh, my God. Cool. Good for him. Yeah. But honestly, like, everything they did with him was, like, I can't stand it. And at the very end, we have, like, a cameo of, like, someone else. And I was like, oh, I don't like that. I still dislike Vicious more.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have nothing to complain about what you said.
Yeah, Vicious sucks.
Honestly, Vicious is the worst part.
He's such a bitch.
Of everything. Yeah, he's a bitch.
When his dad punched him, I thought it was the best moment. I was like, yeah, like I
actively hated the character that I was supposed to actively hate, but not for the reasons that they wanted me to.
Yeah. I know that, like, it's like his dad made up a lie about, like, oh, I heard that you and Spike took out these gangsters, and then Vicious is like, yeah, it was a lot of work, you know, we had to do it, and then his dad just clocks him in the stomach. I was like, oh, hero of the show, this guy right here. I don't fucking care who he is. I don't care if his name's like something really stupid, like, my name's Vagina Wienerstein. Yeah, it's just like, oh my god, the leader of the syndicate, Vagina Wienerstein. Please,
how dare you? Yeah, man. I mean, they in the live action, I think that they tried to do something that would have been pretty cool. Seeing some backstory of Vicious and Spike doing their thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't very cool though.
No,
but the idea.
Well, we did talk about
cool concept.
Can we talk about the spoiling bit, like the last?
Yeah, Ed.
No, before Ed.
Okay. Spoiler.
Talk about Julia. You know, like how, like, how her character develops more than she does in the anime. You know.
Yeah, it does, but I don't think that she's interesting at all in the live action.
Right? It's like in the anime, in the live action, it's like, cool. She's Vicious's like girlfriend, and then her and Spike fall in love and have sex over like one night. You know, it's just like, all this feels so fucking messy. Yeah. And then at the very end, you know, like, there's that showdown.
God, the end was so fucking dumb.
Oh, they're brothers. I forgot to mention they're brothers.
Oh yeah, they're brothers.
They're brothers.
It finally happens.
In this one, they're brothers. They're, you know, he's like
no,
hey,
they're not.
They're adopted brothers. He's like, you're my brother. I'm your brother. I'm your brother, Fearless. Anyways, my dream came through. I knew they were brothers, dude. And the only thing that could confirm it was the live action.
Yeah. The live, honestly, the best source of information.
What's the newest one?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because you had the anime and you had the movie, and then you had the manga that came after that. Well, no. None of that's canon anymore. No. It's just the live action.
Well, in the anime, you know, like how he ends up fighting Vicious, and like there's like Vicious dies or whatever, and like, you know,
whatever.
Spike passes out and it cuts off, and I know that the creator of the show has been asked several times, like, hey, is Spike dead? Is he alive? And he goes, I don't know.
Like he goes, that's something you gotta figure out.
It really is up to you guys. He was like, but like, because a lot of people have said that last shot of Spike's face, like, it looks like he's sleeping. And he goes, if you think he's sleeping, he's sleeping. But he's never actively said Spike's dead or Spike's not dead, you know?
When I first watched that episode, I was like, this is the sickest shit. Like, I thought that's so fucking cool.
I thought he was dead. Like, in my head, I was like, oh, he's dead. It's like, I'd like him not to be dead because I like the character.
I think, and I'm like, he survived so much shit.
Yeah.
Like,
but I also thought, like, he survived so much shit, but he's finally done the thing he needed to do, which was kill Vicious. He can die now, essentially.
Yeah, and the way I thought about it is like, yeah, he survived all this shit, but this is the moment that they want us to go, oh, he might not be alive. So I'm going to assume he's dead. Mm-hmm. That's just the way that it feels. It feels like he's survived everything before. Why wouldn't he survive this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because he's dead.
And for that reason, I thought maybe that's why Spike's so old, because it's like, this is after the anime and there'll be new stuff. But no, it's not,
man.
So the same shit happens. Spike and Vicious fight. and then
the same shit happens.
The same shit happens. Yeah. Like, Spike and Vicious fight. And then Spike's going to
It's all happening in the church. Like,
well, Vicious is gonna actually kill Spike, and then what's her face shows up and pops Vicious, and
Julia,
and he's just like, oh shit.
Oh no, Faye flies in and
no, but that's before. So like,
yeah.
Faye
Well,
comes
at first
and
saves everyone,
but then Julia comes in and then shoots Vicious, and then it's just like. Spike's there's like, oh my god, you're alive. Oh, we can be together. And she's just like, no, fuck that. It's like,
you've known where I've been this whole time. You could have found me.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, Julia, fuck you.
What a strange switch. He's just like, it wouldn't have been safe. It's like, that's bullshit. It's like, you know what? We can be the head of the syndicate now. You take him out and we'll be the head of the syndicate. And he's just like, no, I don't want to do that. And she's like, you're a fucking bitch, Spike. And she shoots Spike and knocks him out the window. I was like, is that how they're gonna kill him? That's what I thought. I was like, damn.
Yeah, well,
just for her to give up her plot, her evil plan is to keep Vicious alive because apparently people don't get to see the people in charge of the syndicate.
Yeah.
And she's like, cool, you'll be alive, but I'll be the one calling the shots.
Which, like, I mean, if that's the way things are,
yeah,
that's pretty smart.
It's interesting, yeah.
But if that's the way that you wrote your show to be, yeah, that's pretty lazy.
Yeah, and it's just like...
Okay, so Vicious is no longer our villain for season 2. Mm-hmm. Now it's Julia, I guess. So season 2, people, I don't think anyone's an actual fan of Cowboy Bebop if they're looking forward to season 2.
It is...
Like, the way that they end Cowboy Bebop live action just doesn't invite anybody in for a little bit of anime camaraderie, you know?
That also just kind of blew my mind because like that was her plot, right?
That was her plot.
She could have just killed Vicious and been like, "Cool, Spike, you won't do what I will. You already shot him. What's the point?
What is the point?
It's a bunch of bullshit.
It is a bunch of bullshit.
And at the very end, to top it all off,
what happens?
We finally get a dope ass cameo from our favorite character, Ed.
Yep.
And it was so fucking cringy.
So everyone's mad at Spike.
Yes.
Spike goes and drinks himself to death. And then when he passes out in an alley, Ed comes up and is like, yo, Spike, are you alive? Spike, we got some shit to do, Spike. I'm wearing shoes. And you're like, look, motherfucker, Ed has never put shoes on her feet.
Yeah.
Don't even pretend. You were on a set. It's not like it goddamn mattered.
Why would you break character? Yeah.
Yeah, like you didn't need to have Ed wearing shoes, but I guess they're planning on showing Ed go on a bunch of adventures that are going to require shoes.
Yeah.
As you know, real humans would need shoes. Yeah. I just don't. Immediately, it's such a different character. It's like they heard about Ed and they're like, I get the idea.
Yeah, so they're like, hey, so this is your... I think I got it, you know?
Look, man, I get it. Yeah, she's zany. Okay,
she's quirky. You know, I went to college with girls like her. I get it. Yeah, her hair is orange. I get it. She's like a Chucky Finster type. Okay, I get it.
Her hair is pure red.
Yeah, no, I think
it's like
it was so
fucking horrible.
I was talking to my friend Kyle Parlow. I'm like, hey man, did you see it? And he goes like, no, I didn't see it. He goes, I kind of saw it. He says I played it without any audio. It was like on Twitter or something. He's like, and just seeing it, I could hear what was happening. I go, yeah, that the visuals.
Hey, Spike Spiegel.
It reminds me of like
oh my god,
what's his face? Is it Chum from the fucking Hey You Guys from fucking the one where the kids are underground
holes?
No, they look for One-Eyed Willie's treasure. What is it? Oh,
Goonies.
Thank you. It was so dumb and over top. Again,
yeah.
I don't think it was the actor's fault. This is her first role in television. It's someone probably said like, hey, here are your lines. Say them like this. And she's like, okay, dressed up in her dumb little suit and said her lines. And people are like, good enough. Let's wrap this bitch up. Let's fucking go.
So weird. Because, yeah, I mean, Ed's pretty much an impossible character to replicate with live action.
She's almost not human. Like,
it's so incredibly outlandish the way that Ed moves around. It's hard to make somebody that young come across as both insane and intelligent without being overbearing.
Or annoying, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, no. Ed does sweet stuff every once in a while. Ed tries to help people. Ed's just doing Ed stuff. And usually works out pretty good.
Yeah.
But in the live action, since we only got to see Ed for like a moment,
a minute 20.
Yeah, I think it was less than a minute 20.
No, I think it's a minute 20.
The scene was a minute 20, but I think Ed's in it for like 10
seconds.
you
talk about like visually seeing him?
Yeah,
no,
I'm like,
I'm gonna count it out, but it
sure, yeah, but it doesn't matter. It was like
it was short,
so short. but also so poignant, just to be like, holy shit, they just don't understand at all. You have to tone down all the characters. With Faye, I feel like they turned her up, which was a bad choice. Yeah. You should tone everyone down, but they went for the sitcom take on things. And if you're gonna have a zany ass character, it's gonna be that motherfucker that yells.
Yeah, it's like if you like they're Cosmo Kramer like to the fucking top. God damn. I saw a photo of like someone like that first photo of like Ed like looking with those goggles or whatever, and the red hair, and it was just like, why does this feel like every Pepsi commercial in the early 2000s? I was like, oh my God, it really does.
It's so bad.
It was bad. And again, I don't want to throw any hatred towards the actress.
I do. Fuck you.
It's her first job. I know. But it absolutely gave me the same vibes of like, Aang from the last Airbender movie. Yeah. M. Night Shyamalan. I was like, damn, this kid is going to have it rough for a while. Hopefully they have some tough skin, because that shit was bad. That's it, though. I think we're done.
Well, I think that, again, like, nothing against anyone's acting. I just don't think that the showrunners had the idea of what was going to happen with every character until it was already written, and then it just went for it. I don't know. I'm wondering how Netflix was able to go like, this is going to work. This is going to be good for all of our fans, and we're going to do this. Like, the knowledge behind everything that it would take to make Cowboy Bebop live action a reality would intimidate so many companies from being able to do it. And that's why you didn't see it for so long.
Fearless.
Netflix is for sure the Spike Spiegel of anime.
They are vicious and they are fearless when it comes to fucking business practices. This does concern me for whenever the live action Netflix One Piece comes out, because I was like, because One Piece is absolutely, I feel like 1,000 times harder to get right than people in space.
But then again, over the top effects, like maybe they have the budget for those.
It's gonna look like ass.
Yeah, of course it's gonna be bad. Fucking course it's gonna suck. It's a live action every anime that's live action, if I go into that positive, that's fucked up. That's not okay. The new Avatar, The Last Airbender that Netflix is doing, you remember how people were pretty optimistic about it and everything was looking good, and then the dudes who created it left.
They were like, nah.
Yeah, they were like, we're out. People are still excited about that. Well, for me, I see, they were doing Cowboy Bebop stuff to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, now I just completely understand what's going on at Netflix behind this. Death Note looked like a mistake. Yeah. Turns out that was just a stepping stone to get to Cowboy Bebop.
No, like, I think Netflix, what they do is they'll get the IP and then they'll try to get the creator on board. Like for the One Piece, they got the creator to say his casting, like this is the casting he would have wanted. It's like, okay, he gave this the stamp of approval, that means it's gonna be fucking good. Like, I think that's their move. They'll be like, we'll get the creator to say good things about this, or some site say approve something, and we'll just keep pushing forward, and no one will say anything. So like they try to get the Last Airbender guys, and they're like, yeah, okay, and then they're like, no, we're leaving. It's not happening.
Do you have any interest in watching One Piece if they don't include Jamie Lee Curtis?
Why should Jamie Lee Curtis be in it?
Because Jamie Lee Curtis has been a huge fan of One Piece and been vocal about it for years.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
She's cosplayed as Robin. She's like, she's really into One Piece. And I think she could be good as an additional character. Maybe not Robin, but
I will watch the One Piece live action Netflix because I feel like I am contractually obligated to. I think it would be cool if she's in it. I don't think she will be, though.
I will be so excited. I would love that. Yeah, because she's just been a huge fan. Anyways,
she shows up. She's like, "Hey guys, I'm Tony Choppa. I'm a doctor." Like she's the fucking reindeer or something.
Who knows, man? She's whatever. She's just kind of. She's the boat. Yeah. She's the piece.
Hey, I'm the boat. One Piece. How's it going?
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to us deal with this. Are we gonna rank the live action? Yes. You got your phone. You got it already.
I totally forgot about.
I know that this is going above live action on Ohana, but that's very like. Well, on Ohana nailed how people looked. They nailed the sets. They nailed a lot of the tones and stuff, but the acting wasn't great.
Okay, so your list reads Erased Netflix series, which is really good.
Yeah, that's always the top. It's like a legitimately good show.
Always be at the top.
Watch Erased live action. It's the only live action thing that we actually recommend.
If for some reason you can't watch the anime.
If you can't watch the anime.
Which is also really good.
But you still want to read the subtitles.
I had that conversation with someone. I was like, dude, this Netflix Erase is really good. And he goes like, but why wouldn't I watch the anime? It's like, you got a good point there.
No, you don't have to. You're
next,
right.
You have March Comes Like a Lion.
Mm-hmm.
I Am a Hero. Way of the House Husband TV show. God, that was bad.
I agree with that.
Parasite Part 1. Death Note, Light Up the New World.
Ooh.
Inuyashiki. The Gintama movie. Kids on a Slope. And then you have Anohana.
Yeah, I'd put it below Kids on a Slope and above Anohana.
Okay. So
Kids on the Slope was whatever. But oh man. All of the when you start listing all of them, I'm like, oh yeah, Inuyashiki, oh yeah, Parasite, oh yeah, L Light Up the New World or whatever, Death Note Light Up the New World.
Yeah.
So when all of this Cowboy Bebop conversation kind of took off on a Discord I'm in, somebody brought up, I don't remember why, but Death Note because of the Netflix thing. I'm sure. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, yeah, there are like 5 live action Death Notes. They're like,
why
what?
do you know that?
Like, maybe I'm forgetting a stage play or like an ice skating show. But like, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I just want to go over, just for my own knowledge, so I have it in my head. So there's Death Note, Light Up the New World. There's L, Save the World or whatever. We have the J drama. Sorry.
Hold on one sec.
I don't remember what it's called though.
It's just the Death Note drama, but yeah.
Death Note drama. Perfect.
That's 3 at 3.
Part 1 and 2. Netflix.
Hold on. Yes, that's 6.
And why do I feel like there's a third? Like it was a part 1 and 2 Death Note movies,
yeah,
but then there was also another Death Note movie. Am I tripping?
I think the other Death Note movie is Light Up the New World.
Okay, so
which is the one which doesn't have any of the the original characters.
Yeah,
and there's a shit ton of books. Isn't that one? Yeah, that's that one. The Light Up the New World.
Gotcha.
I think
so there's 6 live action Death Notes, is what we're getting at.
Yeah,
and there are 5 less Cowboy Bebops, and I feel like that needs to start changing in this next decade here.
Yeah,
because we've had a decade of Death Note to get all of its iterations.
This was
right?
Light Up the New World with the wacky mask and stuff. Yeah,
yeah. That see, that was like doing its own thing.
Yeah,
just do your own thing.
That wasn't even that long ago. That was only 5 years ago.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That was kind of the time frame I was giving it, like a decade.
It's higher on our list than all the other Death Note stuff.
Well, yeah, because all the other Death Note stuff was bad. Even the Japanese Brad Pitt Death Notes.
Yeah, it's not good.
They were not good.
The fucking spin-off L one's better than those.
Yeah, L Changed the World was
so
good.
bad though.
The drama was the worst, and I did remember that. I was just like, it's just hot boys saying nothing.
Yeah, like what the fuck is going on?
We're all hardcore gothers, and we wear spikes and green. And then after that, it was like, and now everybody's just wearing like thin button-up shirts.
Was it
that are about to explode?
Was it like light and mellow in it, but they were like little kids, and one was a doll or some shit like that? Like I remember some wild shit. I can't remember this. I kind of want to take another pass at it. I'll put at the same place below Kids on the Slope, above Anohana, because I agree.
It's just like they nailed parts, but that doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah,
like there were so many compliments I had, but it sucks because if one thing isn't good, then it can all instantly fall apart. That being said, all of those other live actions that we've watched have different reasons that they're bad.
Yeah.
This show did have a brand new, like, I haven't watched a live action like this. This feels very different. I have different opinions. It's bad for different reasons. Like, a lot of the stuff going into Cowboy Bebop, the live action, wound up surprising me.
But you know, like, I think that's a good benchmark to have Anohana, because Anohana it's literally there just because they got all the aesthetics right.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only reason it's even anywhere near that high, because story, acting, all of that shit, bad. But the fact that they paid attention to details, like he's wearing the right shirt, he has his hair up a little knot, they're having
like satchel necklace,
their star, fucking hairpins.
They nailed so much of it.
So that's why that's where
they hit all the right story beats. Like everything was done right,
and it's still horrible.
It was bad.
Yeah, because it was made for TV, and those fuckers can't act. Yeah,
it was very like, okay, well, this is weird looking. I don't know why it looks weird. It looks fake.
You know what's funny? I totally blanked it, but it's like it's not only the Death Note Netflix movie, There's the Bleach Netflix movie.
But so I didn't want to bring up that kind of stuff because it's Japanese, right? Didn't they just get the like?
But
it's like
I get what you're
people
saying
involved
because they're not because of the language. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So the English adaptations of Japanese
remakes.
anime.
Yeah, okay, what you're saying.
Like it's a very specific, weird little area that Netflix has.
We've hit a really strange time in our lives now.
And One Piece is going to be one of those weird ones that's American made, but it's Japanese shit.
It's a remake adaptation.
Oh, shout outs. 1,000 episodes. They did it. They broke 1,000 for One Piece.
Yeah,
so shout outs.
I did. I heard that, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it crashed Crunchyroll. People were like all about it. It says it's crashed 3 times Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
1,000th episode of One Piece, episode 1, season 4 of Attack on Titan. One more thing. I can't remember what it was. Dragon Ball Z Super, the first episode.
Oh, really?
Those were the only times that the servers for Crunchyroll could not hang. They're like, nope, we're fucking shutting down.
January 9th, boys. January 9th.
Oh, yeah. Let's fucking kill it. Let's
Attack on Titan. Here we go. Oh, yeah. And there are a lot of people out there that I know that they haven't experienced much Attack on Titan. They're not well versed in it.
Here's how it ends.
And they would like to catch up by the time that it starts. Now is... I mean, I think it's a little too late, but honestly, like a good time to start. You're going to have some breaks. You're going to have those holiday breaks and you could just like
New Year's watch Attack on Titan. It's kind of heavy, but yeah, check it out.
We are going to rewatch Attack on Titan.
I'll watch it, dub.
I'm going to rewatch it all after I finish.
Are you?
Yeah. And the reason is because you remember when you were watching the first season of Attack on Titan, you were like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And then you were able
to catch all that stuff.
Yeah. Then you could just like, I already have information based off of extrapolating all that stuff.
Because I'm a genius.
And then I asked my friend, and my friend was like, yeah. So
that's
then
funny.
I was able to go back and be like, that's totally a thing. And that's totally a thing. So whatever I find out in this like end, I'm going to go back and be like, y'all don't even know what's about to happen.
Oh, I did want to say one thing. Usually we say this after watching something and scrutinizing it. This is just our opinion. If you like the live action Cowboy Bebop, that's fine. You're allowed to like it.
I think sure, it's fine.
I mean, I think it's bad, but if you love it, that's cool. That's your opinion. I think it's wrong, but it's your opinion, and I don't care. Don't fucking add us. I don't care. Keep that shit to yourself.
Well, everyone's allowed to enjoy whatever they enjoy.
You like.
I mean, I like Attack on Titan. Not everyone does, but like I would say most people do. Every once in a while you're gonna have a different opinion than somebody else, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I feel like your opinions should be your own.
Yeah,
you shouldn't go based off of other people. Yeah. So even if you like something that's a little bit shitty, own it.
You love it.
I love Trigun.
I love Nickelback.
Super biased.
I shouldn't say that, but I love Nickelback. They're 5 songs.
You could have said Hinder, and I would have.
Hinder got 1 song I like.
I know, yeah, but it's like your song.
Yeah, and it's better than the 5 Nickelback songs.
Yeah, but a lot of people would disagree with you.
But there's 5 of them. Anyways, I'm not doing this. We
have our opinions.
Yeah, we have our opinions.
And we love them.
We can all agree that Imagine Dragons is our favorite band, and that's the episode. If you like our theme song, you could check out Not Mars on Spotify. Trip, where can we find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram Podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instagram Podcast. If you want to send us a tweet at InstaRamenPod.
Benefit.
And you could shoot us an email, InstaRamenPodcast@gmail.com. We like to stream when we record on twitch.tv/Crispather around like 8:30 to 9 is usually when we start. More like around 9 lately. Pacific Standard Time. And I think that's all the information. Oh, yeah. If you guys haven't seen it, go check out the new trailer for Made in Abyss, the 2nd season that's happening soon. Don't worry. You didn't miss a season. A lot of people were concerned about that.
Go watch the movie.
Yeah. No. Not even that. Like, have you seen the trailer yet?
I saw some photos for
It's all about characters you've never seen. So
yeah, I saw the photo and I was just like, that looks like Made in Abyss, but I don't know any of these fuckers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were watching the trailer and are like, Did I miss a season?
What happened?
Like, I don't know any of these people.
What's going on?
Like, nobody knows any of these people.
It's okay.
Just me. Yeah. I read the books. Bitch.
Anyways.
I love you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. See you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.